I'm excited. It's like the best debate of the year. The famous, what is it called? What's it called? Minecraft debate. Okay, the Minecraft debate.
Bro, 8 Cheetos in chat
Bro.
right now. Wait, that's really funny. Man, your video sucked, dude.
It did suck. It did suck. It did suck. The video I saw it. That video was so horrible. This is going to be the most epic debate that I will have seen in my entire life. I look forward to it. That person said so many nonsensical things. I can't wait. Can you wait? I think you might have just seen it on the debate, but you didn't see my reaction to it. You did not see it through my emotional lens, okay? You did not experience this through my eyes. Wow.
Hello?
Yo, hello.
This is so exciting. Also, was this like a Diablo? This looks like a Diablo, you know, the classic Diablo font, right? Diablo 1 font.
Hello?
Yo, hello. This is 8
My
Cheeto.
God.
It's echoing.
Oh shit.
I can't wait.
Gotta turn off the actual.
Okay. Context. Demon Mama, some time ago, did a video about the so-called autism gender, and she said that in her opinion it's fine. People who are on the spectrum sort of use this term to it makes them able, like people who use it are on the spectrum and they use it to sort of better explain how them being on the spectrum relates to their gender, right? If that makes sense. And even Mama says it's fine, it's okay, it's whatever, right? Because well, it is fine. And so this person made a whole video mocking Demo Mama. It was really bad. It had 0 arguments. It was not very good. And now this person, this drama reaction streamer, has jumped into Demon Mama's chat, and now they will debate. I wonder if they will debate autistic gender. So this might be interesting, right? This might be fun. This will definitely be something. That's for sure. Okay. I flashed a DM. So yeah, let's begin.
All right. What's up? How's it going?
Hey, real quick, what are your pronouns?
The he, him.
Ah, sick. The classics, I see. Breaking out the classics.
I'm old school like that.
At least it's not I have no genders, I'm just a guy. I still remember. Guy, self-pronouns. I remember that debate. My gosh.
Wait, so why did you think I was like... Why'd you think I was like 30? I am 19. I don't know why nobody believes that.
I don't know. Maybe it's just I don't know. I guess it's just I don't know many 19-year-old YouTubers, I guess. Why did you think I was 25? Is it because my skin is that radiant?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, damn. So yeah, you have
right off the bat it begins. He doesn't sound 19. He does sound 35. He sounds 59. I swear. As Nightwing As Nightwing said in the one DC animated movie, the cycles just keep getting younger.
Lot to say about my appearance and not much else, bro. What's that all about? Did you have a problem like engaging with ideas, and you just choose to engage on like low-level insults or something?
Yeah. So you actually said that I roasted. You said in the stream that I said that you looked fat, which I didn't do.
I think you said go get a burger, and I think you said that I looked ugly. Yeah, something along those lines.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe maybe you didn't literally call me fat, but you know, you did basically the same thing. So are you like trying to deny that you were insulting my appearance? Because like, come on, man, it was obvious.
Your heart. Well, no. Okay. Yeah. Listen. If I actually wanted to deny something, I would deny it. But I'm literally saying like, yeah, I roasted the haircut, the piercings, and
yeah. What's wrong with my?
What's wrong with the piercings? What's wrong with the haircut? That's a good question. I think Mama is taking lead. Like, I shouldn't interfere. Burger. I shouldn't get a burger. I could have the many different nice burger joints, you know. You usually get a side of fries with the burger, you know. When I taught at this private language school, I would always, when I left with my pay thing for the day, I would actually go by a burger place and I would get a nice burger there on the way to the train. Because the school was so far away that I actually had to take a train.
That piercing, can you explain me? What's wrong with it?
On the lip?
Cool to me.
Well, it kind of looks like you just got like a fisherman just kind of like got you, you know?
Right?
Yeah, totally. That's why you put a gem on it, because fishermen love to fish with gems. By the way, do you mind his face?
Fishermen love to fuck with gems.
Because I think my audience would absolutely love to see what your face looks like, since you spent a lot of time like insulting.
True. Let's go. Show us your face, 35-year-old.
He didn't though. Like you're just making that up.
I don't know, man. You had a 9-minute video, and like a good solid 1 minute was devoted to. That's like a tenth, more than a tenth of the video,
That's
bro.
Just true. That's just cap.
I don't know.
I mean, we did see the video together on stream, as in Demon Mama did, and I was in the audience. So, I mean, this counts as us seeing the video together. You know, I was in the chat commenting when Demon Mama was covering the video.
Man, we all just watched it.
Yeah, I did too.
Anyway,
literally.
so what's your so you said I was like what? You said I was like the. Well, yeah, I mean, there's not really much to it.
Because you're just like lying. Like you're saying I spent most of the video roasting your face. Like that's just not.
I didn't say that you said most of it. Now you're lying. I said you spent a good chunk of it.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Yikes. Yikes, Giggler. You cannot say most of it. She literally just a few seconds ago said 1/10 of the video. She said that that's a lot, but not most of it.
A good chunk.
Which is accurate.
Yeah,
it's funny. So. It's funny how you had to lie about what I said in order to try and make it seem like I was lying.
A good chunk. It's still wrong.
Yeah, it's all right. We got the clip. We all know. We all watched the video. The video's up on the internet for everyone to see. You guys can go see it. We just watched it right now. Anyway.
Bam. Got him. Got him, you ugly bastard who does not show your face. You know? Unlike me, I totally... Whoops, oh no, I don't show my face. Never mind, Gigglers. Never mind, I don't show my face either.
Like I said, post face or shut the fuck up. No, his face reveal was fake. We already saw that. Because
you know the guy who did my face reveal, you know he's actually autistic?
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that that he was that he was offended by my autism video, I guess.
Nah, that's my boy.
Yeah.
That's simple.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry that he felt offended by that. But
no,
or maybe he didn't. Maybe he doesn't have any connection. I guess I'm kind of jumping to a conclusion that he makes.
Yeah, bro, don't. He's not catching strays, bro.
Bro? What the hell, bro? Who's the bro? There's no bro here.
Don't get him involved. Come on.
Well, I mean, to be fair, you let him take a bullet for you when you talk about other people's appearance, and then you hid behind him and his appearance.
No. It's literally a meme.
No?
Like,
wait, what do you mean? It's literally a meme. Post face. Where can we see pictures of you?
Well, bro, what's up with the whole post face thing? Like,
hold on a second.
I've been public that I'm doing that at 400K subs. Like, I'm not hiding anything. I'm just doing it when I hit 400K.
So it's.
Oh. You tell me you're not a real VTuber? I am a real VTuber. but maybe also I am not. Maybe I am a fake.
Behind 400K, you won't show. You'll make fun of other people's appearance without showing your own appearance, but you know, you make somebody else take the shots for you. Is basically what you're saying. Your poor friend. What did you say his name was? Roy?
No,
John?
Oopaville, that's my boy.
Oh, Oompaville. Sorry. I thought you said something else. So yeah, so you know, I guess it's an impasse on this one. You're gonna hide behind other people, and while you know, do shit talk to other people.
Okay.
Yeah. So wait a second. I'm really interested. You came by here to talk with me. I assume you wanted to talk more about the autism gender thing, right? Or is that is that a misassumption? Were you done?
No,
Did you
I
set
mean,
your
someone.
piece on
I
it?
mean, dude, someone just sent me the video. Someone was like,
Dude?
she's watching you live, and I was like, oh shit, really? And I go back, I'm like, oh, okay, you watched the video. I watched like 5 minutes of reacting to it, and I was like, I just typed Joe Biden. Like, I was like, okay, I'll call you for a bit. Like, I don't really care. No, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you seem to get like really.
This is so pathetic so far. This is so weak. Like, what? This is so weak. No, like, no arguments, no nothing. I'm just calling you, whatever. This debate is, like, basically, this debate is as substantial as a debate as, like, the debate that I had with Demon Mama. And by that I mean there's no debate going so far. There's no debate. It's just this person literally called in just to, I don't know why.
This might just be
Like, at least I just wanted to have a nice call, and the whole debate thing was like, is my meme, my whole joke, like ongoing joke. But he supposedly really is calling into debate, so I don't know.
like your audience, like you're like very in like the politics side of things, where it's like
Yeah, I'm a
you're,
political
like,
streamer. Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. So yeah, and you were like, that probably makes sense. Like you were like really trying to analyze like all of my videos. Like I made some points, but like I threw in like so many memes. Like I was just like trolling. Like I put in
so basically,
So what was that whole intro about, that you were like sitting on this video for so long, that you wanted to react to this for so long? What was the point of saying that in the beginning of your video? Well, now that makes no sense. Like, this is such cope. This whole I was just memeing. Like, you just say I was just memeing in order not to have to do any arguments. This is so lazy.
what you're saying is I should have like treated you with soft gloves, because when you make a video saying that I'm like the most cringe person and that my opinion was bad, I just shouldn't. I shouldn't actually think about the words that you say. I should just, you know.
No, you should just laugh at the memes that I post when I post memes, and roast
they weren't funny,
when I say
though.
something cringe.
What? What? I'm sorry, what? You should just laugh at the memes? Where are the memes? Like, show me the memes.
Okay, that's fine.
They weren't funny, and I did roast every cringe thing that you said. So it's kind of weird. I don't know really what you're whining about at the moment.
True.
Because that's exactly what I did.
True.
But it sounds like you want me to like ignore the fact that you were wrong about things and that you made bad arguments.
Okay, well, one of the arguments that I made.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Wait, how does this turn into a 2-hour-long debate? This is what I'm wondering right off the bat. How does this go for so long? Like, this, like, the bam. Like, what can you say to this? Like, it's over. It's over before it began. And then they lived happily ever after or something. What's up?
Like half agreed with, which I thought was funny, which was the fact that I said that gendering things helps us in our society, which like it obviously fucking does. Like, come on now.
Oh, I don't think it does.
You disagreed with that. Yeah, and then
Yeah,
I
I
gave
do
the
disagree with
example of a clothing store, and then you had this terrible response of saying that, oh, society conditioned you into wanting to wear these things, whereas
Yeah, because it did. What? Like, what do you mean? It literally did. Like, many types of clothing started as men's, then went to be women's, and now they are quote unquote only women's, and men who wore those are like, I don't know, girly men or something. Like, high heels started as boots for men. So
my counter would be no.
Society
I'm
didn't just
man.
condition you. Society forces you.
Okay.
exactly,
I'm trying to
exactly. that is factually correct.
Like get through
Go ahead.
sentence
I
here.
just wanted to make sure you were saying the right thing.
No, society wasn't forcing me.
That is factually correct. That is 100 factually correct. Like, as a cis man, try dressing 100% as a woman and see if the society does not force you to do anything. Just check it. Uh, put your theory into practice. Try it. See if there's no enforcement put in place. And see what happens. See what will happen.
To do anything. Genetically, I am taller than a lot of my counterparts, mostly female. And
That's not a nonsensical argument. That's a nonsensical argument for a couple of reasons. One, clothing has nothing to do with how tall or short someone is genetically. Second, that's not even true across the board. There are tall cis women. So that argument right off the bat just flies out the window. Maybe that person should just stick to memes. Stick to memes because you're not very good at making arguments. Stick to your memeing, giggler. You're out of your depth.
And I also have wider shoulders, and I have a male build, which makes it so that certain fabrics that are cut a certain way, are more comfortable. And
Stick to memes.
Stretching there, my man. You're really stretching there. You're saying it's your genetics that makes men's clothing more comfortable to you? Like, the cut of men's clothing has nothing to do with genetics. It has to do with style. There are men who wear tight-fitting clothes all the time. There are men who specifically who go
Ridiculous.
out of their way to buy tailored clothes. When you go to a Walmart and there's a men's section and a women's section, the men's section has boxy T-shirts because that is what is a style that our society tells us is like what men do. They don't want something tailored most of the time, but that's obviously not the case all the time because tailored men's suits are insanely popular. So like
Exactly. And also they are extremely cheap in Vietnam. They cost like $20 or something. $30. Like very cheap in Vietnam. And they are about done with the best possible material. But that's the overpricing of such things by brands is another thing altogether.
barking up the wrong tree by saying it's your genetics that determines why you bought a Minecraft shirt from the boys department at Walmart.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Ridiculous.
I don't even know what you're trying to say at the end of that, but I'm just saying that basically
Well, you're not very smart, are you? You aren't very smart. Maybe that's why you chose to just do memes, which I guess you should just stick to.
like regardless of style, which I would say styling is not necessarily the like the cut, which it can be, but I mean style can mean anything, right? You can talk about like logos, graphic designs, whatever. I'm saying that
That's not true. That's nonsense. Like styles can be a logo. No, a logo is branding. Like a logo and branding can be part of your image if you're super insecure, but it's not style, you know. Corporate branding is not style, as much as corporations would like you to believe that.
yes, there is a certain blueprint that is followed when making men's clothing, and a certain blueprint that's followed when making women's clothing, and that's because
And this is exactly why high heels started as men's boots, shoes, and then ended up being women's shoes. I guess genetics have changed over time, and that's why what was once for men became a thing for women. That makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense to me.
because of the genetic predispositions that form.
True, that makes perfect sense to me. That facial expressions tells me everything. I love it. I think I'm gonna use that smile for the thumbnail. I'm gonna use this for the thumbnail. This is nice. This actually does look nice. People look nice when they smile. Okay.
common male and female
No, my
body
man,
parts.
it is not because of genetics. And also, when you say there's a blueprint, that is like the biggest simplification I've ever heard. Yes, when you go into a Walmart, almost all of the shirts that you're gonna
I don't know. This is like I'm torn. Like this is like she's debating a very cringy person, but this smile is so wholesome. My gosh, what a wholesome smile! It's like a wholesome smile for such a cringe debate. Like I don't know how to feel. I'm feeling so wholesome by listening to this, which is interesting. I'm feeling the wholesomeness.
buy in a Walmart are going to be unisex cuts, which means they are not tailored. They are designed for anybody to be able to wear, men, women, anybody. Anybody in between, even autism gender people. Yeah, for real.
Even autism gender people. Now she's memeing on him.
What's funny about that?
No, she's memeing on him.
You're just being quirky. I found it funny. I don't know. I
that
laugh
quirky to
sometimes.
you?
I put in memes. I laugh. I know that's kind
Oh,
of.
I know. I was just asking. I was just asking if it was like a nervous.
Oh, he's not very bright. He's so slow. Oh my gosh. She's just memeing on him and he does not know. He does not notice. Wow. You're quirky. She's memeing on you, Giggler. Come on. Aren't you supposed to be a memer?
Laugh, or if it was one of those forced laughs that come when you have like a encephalitis or something like that. You know, people laugh forcibly. I was wondering if it was, what you thought was funny about that.
Uh-oh.
Oh, okay. So it was just a nervous laugh.
You were asking? No, I mean, I
directly said. Yeah.
Oh, so you were so do you mean when you asked me a question that you were actually asking? What is this conversation? When you asked me this question, were you asking me?
Okay.
Dude,
So,
you're
wait,
fucking 32. Like, humor's subjective. People laugh randomly. Okay, like.
Oh no,
What?
I was just asking. I was just,
Are you a serious person? Like, do you want to engage the arguments? Or are you gonna like try to get me on nervous laughter? Like, what the fuck do you?
Wait, so it was nervous laughter. Like, if she got you on nervous laughter, then it means it was nervous laughter. I mean, good to know.
Well, no, I was
this,
asking
dude?
why you kind of did like an anime laugh, and so I was wondering if there was something I said that was particularly funny to you, and it was funny
You
because
said
kinda
even
did-
autism gender, and like,
Yeah.
I don't take that very seriously, so I found it funny.
Oh, so why don't you take it seriously?
I mean, you fucking watched my video, like.
Yeah, and your argument sucked. Your argument was what I just was talking about, which was that apparently you believe
Right.
that Walmart
Okay, yeah, and you
shirts
hold
to your
like
genetics.
yeah. And,
Walmart tailors shirts to your genetics. My gosh. My gosh. I can't believe what I'm hearing. I did not expect this argument. Walmart tailors your shirt to your genetics. I wish. My God, I would be so high tech. I have been practicing my Joker laugh for the night debate. I should have used my super laugh. Oh my gosh.
and you hold like the actually like ridiculous take that like, oh, it's style. Like what?
What?
It's
What is
not
ridiculous
style.
about that? I don't understand what you're trying to say there. You're telling me
It's
that
not
you don't.
style.
You
Like,
don't. Wait,
people
you're
ma-
telling me
people
that you
make
don't
clothing-
think. You're saying that when clothing is designed, that it's not designed primarily for style. Do you think that men?
That is a really bad hill to die on if he's going to try to claim that clothing is not primarily made for style. That he's gonna say that it's based on genetics-based blueprint. Okay. Ridiculous.
It's
have-
designed to
Do you think
fit.
that men?
What the fuck are
wait,
you talking about?
Do you think that?
It's designed to fit, huh? Okay. How do you explain high heels, the super high heels? The super high heels that ruin your feet, the super high heels that you ruin your back, that basically just ruin your health. Are these made to quote-unquote fit? No, they are not made to quote-unquote fit. Super high heels are made because there's a certain perception of attractiveness. This is why. This is actually a really good example of that. High heels are not made to fit at all. Which is why I recommend to get nice flat boots. They can be very nice, they can be very fashionable, and they do not ruin your health. This has been my quick message to warn you of the dangers of super high heels, okay? Don't be duped. Don't be duped. You can look nice without wearing super high heels. Okay? Okay? Do you promise me? Okay, I know. I know we're on the same page.
That men have always worn like khakis and Hawaiian shirts, or do you think that over time we have developed
you're talking
certain
about something
styles?
different. Oh my god.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm talking about exactly what you're talking about.
Yes, you are.
It's not my fault that you can't keep up.
down.
Don't you dare tell me to settle down, man.
You're getting a little carried away, okay? You're talking about
What the hell is going on? What the heck? What? Oh wait, did he call her a man?
Is worn like the biggest. I think that over time. I'm not.
okay.
I'm talking about exactly what you're talking about.
Yes, you are.
It's not my fault that you can't keep up.
down.
Don't you dare tell me to settle down, man.
You're getting a little carried away, okay? You're talking about khakis.
Okay, he didn't. But what the hell? This is what?
Khakis have nothing. The khakis are like a material. It's a
Khakis? What?
style. It's a color. It's a.
Thank you.
It goes with
well, that's
other
what I
things
just
with clothes.
said. I literally
Okay,
just said
but
that it's
you
about
use
styles.
it as a,
You just
as a
admitted
jumping
my
off
point.
Yeah. This person. I should call into Demon Mama and say and do this and do that. Demon Mama. Come on. Yeah.
Okay.
Don't,
You're
that is
using
so
it as a jumping
cope.
off point.
That is the biggest cope I've ever heard. Trying to make fill time by saying la 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 la. You could do that, man. Come on, you got to do better.
No,
than this.
because
Come on,
you're,
you gotta do
you're being silly.
This is. I knew this debate would be good. I knew this debate would be really good. The moment I saw the title Mama Debates Minecraft Kid, a cheater on gender, I knew this would be the best debate of the year. I don't know if this can be topped, and this is just the beginning of the year. And I already know if there is going to be a debate that will top this one. Wow. And we are here to witness this debate. 2 little people had seen this debate. About 200 people were watching the premiere. More people should be watching this debate. You should get more people to watch this.
Am I being silly? You haven't been able to explain. All that you've been able to do is come in here and mad cope. I pointed out that clothing design. You are mad coping. It's
so
crazy.
my
I
argument,
came in
can
and
I
I said, no. Well, I was trying to finish an argument from before that you never really addressed.
no.
You just.
What happened?
Okay. All right. You want to make another one?
Are you okay?
So my argument is that it's not about looks at the end of the day when we're talking about clothing. It's yeah, that's part of it, but it's also the biggest part of clothing.
It's mainly about looks. What do you mean? Clothing is mainly about looks. Because it's really, it's capitalism. Of course it's mainly about looks. It's about what sells. What do you mean?
Obviously, and the reason why we have it is because it fits, right? It covers us up. I know you're pro nudity or whatever, but
What?
I'm not equipped to have that conversation, okay?
Are you anti nudity? Are you afraid?
I'm not equipped to have this conversation. Well said. Well said.
Of naked people?
I don't fucking know. I'm just saying in our
Dude?
society, people
Well,
wear
what is
clothes.
that? Wait,
are you gonna
why do you
contest
say
that?
stuff like that? If you don't know what that means, why do you say equip if you don't know what you're actually saying?
Because
Like, what were you trying to say there? Are you anti-nudity? You were like, you're pro-nudity, and I'm like, and then I
does that
asked you a
even-
very simple question: are you like anti-nudity? Because if I'm
what
pro-nudity,
does that mean? Like, do you think? Are you asking me if
you
I think
don't
I
have to
should
tell
like
me
strip
that,
in the
bro.
street?
What the hell? What? Oh my god. What? What's happening? What is happening here? What does that mean? What does that mean, the thing that I just said?
Like I should just go, like frolic near like a elementary school butt naked.
What the hell? Oh my god.
Like, are
You
you
have to
asking me if
tell
that's
me
my
what that
take? Like, what do
means.
you?
You're the one who told me that I was pro-nudity, and I asked you, what
Bro.
does that mean? Are you anti-nudity? And then you went, oh, and you started scoffing like you were confused.
What the hell? What the heck? This is.
So what did
Because
that mean?
okay, all right. So I'll explain it. Okay.
Okay, please explain it, please, please.
When I s- okay.
Even he's laughing now.
Say I'm anti-nudity.
Man,
I mean
you
that I
really
don't.
are just like struggling here, aren't you?
No,
This is
because
so out
we're
of your
having
depth.
50 conversations at once. Like, you don't
Why
want to
don't
stay
you
on
just make
topic here.
Minecraft content? Why
That's-
don't you
I mean,
just do the
I am doing
Minecraft?
that.
Why do you
It's
why do you got to try and like
You asked me to come on the stream. You called me a pussy if I didn't. I'm like, okay, sure, I'll do it. I don't care.
Well, I mean, it's true. You would have been a pussy if you didn't, but you did.
This is so great. This is so great. This is top quality content. I love it.
So I guess you got that one. You got that point going for you. I'll give you that credit.
Oh, geez,
right, so-
thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
So you're saying that I just want to get your argument straight so far. Before you said the nudity.
Oh my god. This is gold. It's like this.
I don't know why you said that. You don't
Because
seem
I
to
was
know why
making
you
a
said that.
point. I do, but you like cut me off.
What is the point?
And you like had like a fucking like aneurysm when I like
Well,
shut
wait,
down my
you're-
point because you're like,
you
you
have a
don't even
chance
know
right
what
now.
you're talking about.
Go
Okay,
ahead.
cool.
Tell
so
me.
I'm saying the point of clothing is to cover us up because whether or not you're pro or anti nudity, we live in a society where you're expected to wear clothes. Full stop. Agree or disagree?
And yeah, our society does expect you to wear clothes. I wouldn't argue
Rad.
that
And I'm
that's
s-
the.
and-
Yeah, but okay,
so?
sure.
Okay, I'm saying whether or not I believe that like being naked is like morally or anything, which I don't care. Like if the societal standard was to just be butt naked all the time, okay, cool, I'd rock with that. Like I don't like
Sure.
whatever, right? The point
Yeah,
is
sure.
that there's like our society is like we're expected to wear clothes. I'm saying the functionality of clothing.
Okay. Who's having an aneurysm? Oh.
Not the style, not the aesthetic, is to fit, is to make sure that it fits and covers your body to whatever the extent society deems is appropriate. The whether or not it fits part, the functionality.
Okay, where does the cover up, but okay, now you have to connect the dots for me from clothing covering people up to clothing being tailored to one's genetics. This is a thing that I need to like connect the dots.
Part depends on whether or not you're a male or female. Full
Nope. That is so incorrect that it's not even funny.
stop. Agree or disagree?
Disagree hard.
No, I disagree with that, and the reason why.
Of course I disagree with that. This is ridiculous. This is so stupid.
I would say I disagree with that is because
it's
there are
stupid.
even if we take style aside and we only do fits, there's an incredible amount of variety in the type of fits that we have out there.
Yep.
Even just
There is an incredible variety of body types across the sexes. Because as we know now, sex itself is not a binary. It is a bimodal distribution of traits. So whether you
talking about fitting. There is capris, there are shorts, there are like literal like thongs and G-strings. These are all kinds of different ways of covering yourself up, and them covering a certain portion of you doesn't necessarily have anything to do with your genetics whatsoever.
True.
What type of clothing do you want for the weather conditions and for your...
What do you think clothes are made elastic? So they can say the different builds, you know? Elastic material.
Personal comfort. So
Real.
like,
Yeah,
I don't
so
know,
that's
just,
more in the functionality argument.
Like,
so
well,
I want to get into
Functionality argument is the practicality argument. What do you mean? What? Yeah, it is the functionality argument, and you're failing at making it.
that
to me, like,
you're actually saying that there's it's more about style, which it is true actually. There's a lot of different stylistic adaptations when using the thing that I said, and I said this, and you got very caught up in this, and I said there's a blueprint, right? Yes, there's a.
There is no blueprint. The blueprint is BS. If there was a blueprint, then across cultures, you would have some sort of a blueprint of clothing. There is no such thing. There is no quote-unquote blueprint. Nonsense. Like, there is no blueprint. It's a nonsensical claim.
Wide variety, but they all stem from a similar base blueprint.
Nope. Nope. That is something that you would actually need to demonstrate, and that's impossible. That's literally impossible. You would have to point to some blueprint, quote-unquote, that is identical across culture, across societies. That is impossible to do.
Which is true.
I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. Like, I
It's
don't.
not true at all. Like, there are places where, like, many thousands of years ago, we just used to wear loose rags, basically, stitched together to cover us up, as that person has said. And men and women just wore rags, basically, or furs that were, like, sewn together to cover us up, to keep us warm. There is no blueprint. The blueprint is nonsense. Like, it's nonsense speech. It's cope.
I don't think you have evidence to make that claim. Like,
True, you don't have evidence to make that claim. That is great that she said it, you know? That you would have to really demonstrate that to make that such an assertion.
In fact, I think that that's almost absurd to say. If you're telling me that you think that Walmart, The Gap, all of the sub-companies that they contract to make their clothes that they buy from like 100 different people, there's like Fruit of the Loom, you're telling me they all operate from like a single blueprint? No,
Exactly.
They operate from no...
Hold on. When I say
I don't even know if
blueprint,
they
do you think
operate-
I mean like an actual blueprint or like an idea? Because I'm saying more of an idea.
Well,
I'm not saying
That is nonsense, okay? That is also nonsense. That's also another thing.
there's
they
like
all
there's
are
like a
operating
there's
from
like a
the same
Krabby
idea.
Patty
In
secret
fact-
formula. Okay, that's just wrong.
Well, I mean,
You're
that's
just, you're just
I mean, I don't know why you...
Okay, then prove it. Prove it. It should be easy to prove. It should be so easy to prove if it's so obvious. Like, just because you feel that it's true, it doesn't make it so. Prove it.
Any store right
Well,
now,
I don't
and
know
then
why
you'll
you would
see
say
how
it.
all
I don't
the
know why
men's
you would
clothes look
say a
similar.
blueprint if you... But they don't all look similar.
They do. Okay, yeah.
No,
you haven't
they
gone
do
to a
if you-
store.
they-
That's unlucky.
Do you want
if you're an idiot.
me to just, like, I can literally turn my camera and show you my closet full of clothes if you really want me to. Like,
That
that's
doesn't
like such
prove
a stupid
anything.
thing.
Because you're not following the blueprint because you don't make clothes.
What?
You're not even arguing with what I'm saying.
No,
You're like,
said
oh,
I
you
don't
want to
go
see my drip? A drip check? Like what?
Are you?
Yeah, we should do a drip check. You could show us what you look like so we could see for sure what you were...
We should do it. Nice. Nice. Nice one. Nice one.
talking about.
Why?
yeah,
You're
you
more
wanna do- you
focused
wanna
on
do
what
a
I
drip
look
check?
like than I am on what you look like. I genuinely
I don't
like.
know about that. You made the video in the first place. My video was just a very,
Yeah, it was
very
about
calm...
autism gender. It wasn't
Yeah,
about look
yeah.
at this
Wait.
person on the screen and look how funny they look. I
interesting.
said one small thing.
Yeah,
and
I
you're
did
like
a...
so caught
it
up
wasn't
on
one
it.
small
One small thing, huh?
thing. It was like a
It was.
tenth
Maybe there's a blueprint behind your. There's a certain blueprint behind your words. It's called bigotry.
of your
Oh.
video. Like a,
No,
like a
it
solid
wasn't.
tenth of your video was you trying to make jokes about my appearance and stuff.
Nope.
Yeah, it kind of was.
And actually, do you want to like?
but
Do you
we're
want to
back.
like
We're
just
like
fact check
looping
that?
back.
Can we get the
We're
Joe
looping
Biden
back.
fact checkers on that? Like, that's just not
Yeah,
true.
sure.
What?
Go ahead. Joe Biden fact checkers. We got a whole lot of Joe Biden fact checkers in chat. But again, it's kind of weird. Like we've looped back to something else. You said
Yeah, 'cause
that
you
they
never were
wait,
telling
no,
the
no,
truth
hold on,
about it.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
1/10 of your whole video. Yeah, bullshit.
You said just a few seconds ago
my
that you
gosh.
believe that there is a blueprint that operates all clothes. Now, I will say, if you go to a Walmart where the absolute cheapest clothes you can
By the way, there is no Walmart in Poland. I keep hearing about that Walmart thing, and I've never been to one because there is no such thing here as Walmart. I've never been to a Walmart in my entire life, but I keep hearing about Walmart. Isn't that interesting? But okay.
possibly buy are on display. And when I say that, by the way, it's really funny that you would say they operate from a blueprint when if you actually go to the t-shirt departments of the women's t-shirt department and the men's t-shirt department,
Identical.
most of the shirts there will be
Identical.
unisex. That is
True.
the type of tailoring.
Identical.
If you know anything about clothes, unisex is
Yup.
the more boxy.
Identical. Because it's mainly about the size. The size dictates the shoulders, etc., etc. The size, not some blueprint to genetics and sex. That is such nonsense.
cut. It's not tighter around the armpits. It's not tighter around the neck. And the reason for that is because it's meant to be able to fit any body type, male, female, in between, anything.
Yeah, but that ties back to the claim that you said that gender doesn't benefit us. You're saying
It
that okay,
doesn't.
if everybody,
No, wait,
if
you're
everybody,
jumping,
if everybody wore
you're jumping,
unisex,
you're jumping.
If anything, gender shackles us, right? There's a really strong argument to be made that it just shackles us. Like, it's indisputable. You can try, but you will fail. It's always better to be able to present, dress, and do what you want than being shackled to a certain, label, right? If you could do 100% what you wanted, it would be by default better than being forced or being ridiculed if you fell out of line to what you were assigned to. Like, it's objectively correct. Like, this, if you, I can only assume there's, that you're a victim of brainwashing if you argue that's not the case.
Way too far. No, I'm trying to point out to you that your idea of like a gender blueprint literally only applies, and it doesn't even apply very well, to a Walmart t-shirt section. If you go to a men's clothing store, if you go to even not a men's clothing store, but let's say you go to a like an REI or an LL Bean or some sort of sporting goods store, the styles that you will see on display will vary drastically. There are going to be big boxy cozy shirts that are made for women. There are going to be thin cut, highly tailored, sometimes even skin tight things made for men. So the idea that there's like a single blueprint or even a single idea that all of these clothing lines are building off of is nothing. It's not true.
Well,
it's just
so
you're
you
just
kind of
wrong
made the
about
argument
it.
for me.
It's just your
You kinda made the
imagination.
argument for me. You said that there's an expectation that you had when walking into a men's clothing store. If there was no expectation of what that would look like, then we'd all just be going to the Walmart unisex section. The reason that gender, in a sense of fashion,
that's
benefits
not
us
true.
in society. Excuse
Wait,
me,
hold
I'm
on.
speaking. The reason why
Go
it
ahead.
benefits us in society is because, like you just said, there are different stores that offer different types of expectations in terms of what you're going to get, and a lot of those are gendered. If you walk into a men's clothing store, you're expecting to see
That is post hoc. That is post hoc talk. Like, what? Because gender exists, it's good that we have those expectations because those expectations make it that you have this or that, and otherwise we would just have unisex that would be just nothing. Like, what? That is such nonsense. That's just post hoc.
You have a rough concept of what you're going to get, whereas if you walk into a women's clothing store like Victoria's Secret, you also have a rough idea of what you're going to get. That's because gender has benefited us in this sense. There's a
No.
reason why if a girl I know goes to Victoria's Secret, like I know what she's going to get, or I have a rough idea of the things
That's
that she's
because
going
that's
to
a
buy.
lingerie
what
store.
they're
That's
going
not
to
a
look like.
women's clothing store. That's a lingerie store specifically. But I understand that maybe the only women's store you know of is Victoria's Secret.
So, what would be the difference if we had masculine, if even that's not that helpful, but if we have masculine item store, feminine item store, and anyone could get anything from those stores. You would still have the rough idea of what you would get in a given store, except it would not be except you would not expect the clients to be certain types of people, you know? It means anyone will get in and get feminine clothing, regardless of what gender they were. Because, and this is important, a woman's store and a men's store does not just give you a rough idea of what type of clothing it is. It also dictates who it's for. One is for men and one is for women. And that part has not benefited us at all, right? Because it basically shackles us in certain roles that we are not supposed to be able to get out of. So the expectation goes two ways. You have a rough idea of what you can buy, but also there's this strong enforced expectation of what the things are, who the things are for, sold to, who is supposed to be wearing this, right?
Okay,
But
nice
also,
cheap
what
shot.
is this? What does any of this matter? Like, what is this saying
asked
about
me-
anything?
you're
simply,
contesting the
wait,
point.
Hold on,
You
hold
are
on.
contesting the
Let me
point.
finish what I was saying. You are now saying that men's and women's clothing stores exist, which I acknowledge. What is
Yeah.
in those stores? That goes to my argument, which is to say that our society has pre-decided for us what things belong in a men's store and what
Exactly.
things belong in a women's store. There is nothing that stops a woman from walking into a men's store, finding something that fits her and that she likes, and taking it home. In fact, they do it all the time. There's nothing stopping a man from going to a women's clothing store and buying something that they find that fits them and that they like, that looks good on them, and then taking that home.
We were poor when I was growing up, so I tended to wear my sister's hand-me-down clothes. She dressed like a dude, generally jeans and t-shirts. True, that is not an uncommon story for younger siblings to wear hand-me-down clothing from their older siblings, you know? That is not like an uncommon story. That just happens.
We just for some reason separate these things. And no, it doesn't mean that every
arguing a
store
different
would
point
be.
now.
I'm not arguing a different point.
You
It's
are.
the
You're
exact
saying
same.
that they can do it. You're saying, yeah, okay, if a girl finds something she fits in a men's clothing store, she can buy it. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but that just means that your whole blueprint thing is bullshit, doesn't it?
I'm illustrating
That's
to you.
awesome.
I'm very,
We're-
very
we're
carefully.
talking on
Hold on. I'm
utility.
holding your hand. I'm holding your hand and trying to show you
Oh, dear.
that gender is socially constructed. That men's clothing stores can
True. I did notice that they design women's shirts and pants are cut differently. The armpits and the arms are less comfortable. Ah.
contain those things not because of any genetic reason, but because of the norms of our
But most shirts have like a nicer, softer material, you know?
society. That people's dads say, you got to go get a suit, son, and put on your tie. That's the reason the stores sell different things. It's not because of fit, because like I said, the reason, I'm just explaining my point to you, the thing that I just said, a woman can walk into a men's store and find something that fits and looks good in that men's store. So it's not because of fit. These things exist because of stylistic differences. They exist because of social and cultural differences.
True.
Okay, so regardless of whether or not that's what you believe, and
What? Also, women clothes should have pockets. It's to see women are denied pockets. Pockets suck! That's why you have a purse. Just buy a purse. What do you mean pockets? Buy a purse. Buy a bag. That's what bags are for.
I'm
No,
not going
that's
to win you over on the
true.
genetic argument. Okay, you believe it.
Pockets. Buy a bag.
Great, awesome. You think it's true? Yes,
But
it's-
you haven't even presented a single thing other than that.
But I'm not gonna-
what store? Have you ever been to a store that checks your genetics before you go in? They don't.
No, but we're not talking about that anymore. We're talking about the utility because that was the argument. You made the claim that gender does not benefit us in society. That is your
Yeah,
claim.
It doesn't. It shackles us. It's objectively true. We have discussed a bit why you know?
That is my
I'm
plan.
saying-
Yes.
I'm saying that it does, because regardless of whether or not you think that you can find these cases of like people, like a girl going into a men's clothing store and finding a t-shirt that she likes and wearing it, awesome, that's great, but that's the exception to the rule. You have to understand, 99% of people don't give a shit about the fact that, like, oh yes, there's men's stores and women's clothes. They just go.
That is not an argument. That is actually a bad argument. Just because 99% of people are okay with the default, with the status quo, it's actually called like manufactured consent, right? Like, just because a lot of people are okay with something, it doesn't make that thing okay. Like, a lot of people just accepted their fate under like feudalism to be serfs. It doesn't mean that the whole system of there being peasants that just basically were treated as not human was okay, right? Just because something is, it doesn't make it okay. Just because something is, it does not mean that it should be. That is a nonsensical argument. Right? I once stole one of my sister's little black dresses, and I happened to get pulled in by cops that night for breaking curfew. Oops. Like, this is like the whole ad populum fallacy, right?
Go to that. They go
This is real. This is strange that you actually need to explain such things. Should be nobody's business.
to the one that they're, I guess, were societally constructed to go to, and they shut up and they don't care, and it works. It's awesome.
Well, I
you
think
seem to be
that's
the
a
one
very-
who.
No, wait, hold on a second.
you
wait.
seem.
So, like, this is supposed to be an argument? This is a brain-dead argument, and we've already explained why. And I'm hoping Demon Mama will explain it as well.
This is,
I mean, you
this-
and your
you're
chat,
going,
you
you're
know, they
going
seem to
way
care.
off onto something else. There are oh my god, I don't even know. Like, I feel like this is literally like, I don't want to discriminate against you for being 19, but like, if you think that women have like just go to women's stores and never have any issues, you need to like go talk to some
No,
women.
I didn't
because
say. Okay.
it's just like
I
it's
didn't say
literally
that.
just
That's
not
awesome.
true. You did. You just said that. Oh my god.
No, I'm saying they don't have any issues with the fact that they can't find men's clothing there. Like they just, you know what I'm saying?
Who
No one
says
goes
who?
into a.
What? Well, that's... What?
How would you
What?
know that? How would you ever know that?
Are you fucking kidding me? You think a girl goes
how
into
would you
a
ever
woman's
know?
clothing?
Exactly. How would you know? That's like, what? What if they do? Like, this is why they do go to men's sections to get something. Like, what?
Clothing store and is like, oh damn, there's no men's clothes there. Are you high? Like what?
Wait, hold on. I can give you an
that's the most
example. I can give you
Are you stupid?
an example of exactly this. Women
Yeah,
constantly.
dude, I'm gonna walk into
Wait,
fucking like
hold on,
Nike,
hold on.
go to the
You're getting
men's
worked up.
section, and I'm
You're
in the
getting
men's
worked
section,
up.
and
You're
I'm just
starting to
like,
get
oh, dude, there's
emotional.
no dresses
You're starting
there.
to get emotional. You're starting to get emotional. It's okay.
Yeah, because you're saying some crazy
Take
shit.
a breather. Take a breather. I didn't say anything crazy. You've got a very active imagination, and I'm sure you're like imagining the SJW React images in your mind and all that shit.
What are you talking about?
Women go into women's clothing stores and women's clothing sections all the time. And one of the biggest complaints about women's clothes, and I put giant quotes on that because I think the concept is very silly by and large, is that women's pants do not have any pockets. It's one of the biggest complaints.
Uh-oh. Actually, women's pants have clothes. Women's pants have pants. Women's pants have pockets in Poland, okay? So I guess that's a difference in... I guess that's just a thing in the US. Because women's pants absolutely have pockets in Poland. That's... yeah. Yeah, they do. They do. Like, usually the difference is like... The difference between men's and women's, like, pants in Poland is usually size and maybe what side the button, you know, the button up your pants, what side of the side of the button, You know, to button up is the gender difference. You know? Do you know? And aside from that, they're basically identical. Like, most girls wear jeans, and boys' jeans and men's jeans are basically just identical. Right? So, and the main difference is the side of the button. Yeah, you need to go to a specialized store to like a really plus size clothing. You usually need to go to a specialized store. Yeah, that's true. Extra expensive. All right.
And in fact, one of the things that happens all the time, if you talk to some women, you will discover that this is true, is that a lot of times women will walk into the Gap, they'll walk over to the men's section, and they'll buy a pair of pants over from the men's section because it has pockets. It's incredibly common, in fact, that women go and wear men's pants because women's pants don't have pockets 90% of the time. It sucks. It's actually super annoying. And you would know this if you just thought.
This is interesting because it's not a problem in Poland.
For a second, instead of like, you know, jumping to conclusions and saying that like, oh, gender is, you know, the need for pockets or the need for no pockets is written into your genetics. That's absurd. It's just, it's stylistic decisions.
Bro, we're not talking about pockets. Like, okay, yeah.
Brother!
On women's pants. Like,
Wait a second.
Why?
But that
okay,
is
awesome.
wait, hold on. We are talking about pockets because in our society, for a very stupid reason, pockets are gendered. Women's pants are sold without pockets for most of the time. It's incredibly common for women's pants to have fake or no pockets whatsoever, whereas men's pants always have pockets without question. All men's pants, like jeans, etc., always have pockets. Even dress pants for men will have pockets.
Women's jeans in Poland have pockets, but I've already like that. This is like this also speaks like the whole blueprint thing is BS because it will differ from country to country. So this already shows us how BS the whole concept of a blueprint, quote unquote, is like nonsensical.
Pockets often. It's very rare that you won't have that. Why is that gendered? Why is pockets gendered?
Oh, the fake pockets? Wait a minute. Like, some men's suits have fake pockets.
It doesn't even make any sense. Can you even answer that question? Why the fuck is it?
Why would you make a fake pocket? Like, this is so weird. Fake pockets are such a nonsensical
case, and it's true. If you don't believe me, go to Walmart, check the women's
If you're gonna make a pocket, just make a pocket. Don't make a fake pocket.
pants and check the pockets, and then go check the men's packs and check the pockets.
Okay, you're literally arguing with like an invisible ghost in your bedroom. Like, I literally never said that. Oh yeah, dude, it sucks that like, or it's so awesome that women can't get pockets on their pants. Like, when did
That's
I
not.
ever
Are
say
you
that?
listening? That's not what I said at all. I'm like,
You just
explain
ranted about
to me.
fucking pockets for 2 minutes.
I am explaining a gender difference. A very common, easily verifiable difference.
And this is why.
And I'm pointing out. No, wait, hold on.
That's
Don't do
because
it
your
yet.
idea
Wait a
of gender
second. I want
boils
to make
down
sure
to
you
a
understand.
societally constructed definition, while
Oh my
mine
dear God.
as genetic. And you're right. Genetics does not determine your need for pockets, and that's why, honestly, mine makes more sense. Because if it was about genetics,
You actually
then yes,
can't
all pants
grasp
would get
this.
pockets.
You actually can't grasp what I'm saying. Like, I want you to really try as hard as you can. Apply all of your mental power to this real quick. Okay? Tell me why in our society that men's pants have pockets. That pockets have become a gendered trait in our clothing. Why men's pants have pockets and women's pants do not. Explain to me why that exists in a way that aligns with your worldview.
Okay, so you're trying to like corner me right now on this
I'm
like
not.
pocket
I'm
thing because
asking
I don't
you a
have the
super-
esoteric.
Oh my dear God.
I don't have like the esoteric
Oh my
knowledge
God,
on
man,
like
you have
gendered
nothing.
pockets.
I don't think you have any knowledge. I'm asking you how that fits into your
shifted the
worldview.
entire conversation to about.
I
to be about
haven't.
this
I've
esoteric
literally
pocket
followed
discussion.
I've literally followed every single line that you've put forward. You said that you believe that male and female clothes stores exist because of genetic reasons. I said
That's not what I
doesn't
said.
make. Yes, it is. That is literally what you said.
I didn't say the stores
Oh my
exist
god,
for
it's the
genetic
goldfish
reasons.
brain.
Holy
it's,
shit,
It's,
dude,
it's the
can I-
goldfish brain.
You just.
You can't remember what you said 5 minutes ago.
No,
can
I
you?
literally was going to say it, and then you're like, "Oh my god, the goldfish brain! He's like the goldfish, guys!" Like, no, that's not, obviously not what's happening. I'm actually going to explain it if you don't talk over me, like every 3 seconds, okay? What I'm saying
Don't talk over me. Don't talk over me.
is because of genetic reasons. I said the cuts of clothing that fits because of biology. Yes, that's true. Men and women are not the same. Are you contesting that?
Men and women aren't the same, but nor are men and men.
True.
Nor are
That's
women
true.
and women.
That is true. That's why I had
Obviously.
the entire blueprint
Like, but-
thing. Yes, they have a
But the
fundamental
blueprint thing
that
doesn't make any sense.
True, it
This is what I'm
doesn't.
pointing out. There are all kinds of decisions that are made in men's styles
True.
and
If
women's
men,
styles that have.
if men and men are different, then you cannot have a single blueprint. By design, of course you can't. It's nonsense.
literally
It's nonsense, Giggler. Come on.
with style. Yeah. Also,
I
like,
hear.
as somebody pointed out in chat. No, wait. Here, let me give you an example of this real quick.
I will give you
Real
an
puzzler,
example.
okay? Are you okay with me? I want to make sure that you're not going to have like a meltdown. Are you okay with me talking about a girl who has a penis? You okay with that?
Bro, what?
Just want to make sure you're not going to
What
get
is going
fragile.
on right now, bro?
No, I'm just gonna. Many.
Hold on,
okay,
hold on,
many.
I'm dead serious. Give me 30 seconds. I have to get a water, bro. This is actually
Please get some water. Yeah, you definitely want to stay hydrated for this. I can tell that it's just keeping up with you. So go ahead. You all are so lucky, by the way. You all are so fucking lucky. No. No, AJ. No, AJ. It's all good, AJ. After this long of a debate drought, I owe you? Yeah, nah, I don't owe you shit. It is Arlox.
Oh my gosh, what's happening? Where does that person go? Dry mouth is the side of arousal. Ooh! Come on! Wait, my mouth is like...
I have hope. I have hope for this guy.
All right, what's up? Okay, so
What is up?
Are you well
got my
hydrated?
water.
Giggling!
Goodness. Dehydration. Did you know that dehydration reduces mental faculties?
Oh no. Oh no.
It's not good.
I need to drink some
Let's
water
get some
now.
water in you and we'll
I
see how it
pickled
goes.
out. Maybe that's why I'm so low mental.
Yeah, I actually have two.
I don't
cups
actually
here.
hate you. Like people think that I hate people. I don't.
Well, okay, if you want the real honest reason, if you want to, I mean, we're going to take a pause. If you want to know the real reason why people think that you hate them, it's because your videos are like you cringily freaking out at really minor things that people said and then saying that it's absurd and insane without ever actually making an argument for that.
Well,
Like,
no,
I don't
but,
know.
You,
Like,
you
I don't
said-
know
you
how
think
you
that,
can...
like I was like roasting your appearance and stuff. Like I
You
made like
were.
one like little like little.
Yeah, but you don't
slight,
show
like, this is
face.
Funny.
You don't show face, so shut the fuck up. Why is it relevant to anything? Would you wonder why
True.
people would think that you're an asshole if
True.
you make fun of their appearance and then also don't address their arguments?
Well, okay. Well,
Because you didn't.
Hello, Obsessive Forge. We're working on a game and we're also listening to the best debate of the year. I'm gonna have to tell you. You know? Okay. I need to give some context for Obsessive Forge. So we will go into the context. So some time ago, Demon Mama has made a video about autism gender because she said that people on the spectrum use this term to sort of have a better understanding of how their gender sort of relates to them being on the spectrum, right? So they have created this term, autism gender. It is mostly used by people on the spectrum. And the Demon Mama basically said that she feels it's fine, that it's okay, that is like it serves its purpose. You like a person can relate better to themselves, to their gender, etc. It's like, whatever. And then there's this person, this funny guy who does Minecraft videos, and he did a roast video on Demon Mama, which has a bunch of nonsense. It was a bunch of nothing, a bunch of insulting Demon Mama's appearance and nothing else. And then this person decided to call in and debate Demon Mama on gender. And thus far, what we have gotten is this weird tirade on how gender is useful, because there is some genetic blueprint to how clothing is made. And if you go to the men's and women's sections, the men's, what women wear and what men wear is basically all based on a genetic blueprint that determines what gender clothing is correct, I guess. This is where we are right now. And then this guy went to drink some water to hydrate, and then Demon Mama, and then he said that people think I hate them, but Demon Mama explained to him, yeah, maybe if you weren't an asshole, people would not hate you. And he's like angry about it, basically, This is like, I think we're up to speed. I think I've caught you up to this debate, I've caught you up. And the funny thing is, like, we have a lot of, like, actually interesting, like, Demon Mama has been really comedical throughout this. So I've been a little bit torn, because this is a cringe debate with a cringe person, but Demon Mama has been giving us a lot of really wholesome smiles throughout this debate. So I felt cringe, but I also feel wholesome while watching this debate for some reason. Because when someone gives you a wholesome smile, you cannot help but feel wholesome, okay? Right? So there we are. I feel cringe, but I also feel the wholesomeness. So there we go. And now we continue. Also in the background, I'm making a game. And I'm taking notes in my notebook about some game mechanics. Because I want to make a quest. And I realize that there is a big plot point that I'm starting to flesh out through the quest.
Like, also, it's funny. You
think
picked a video.
I'm an asshole. Your chat thinks I'm an asshole. That's okay.
Well, I mean,
like,
yeah,
I get DMs every day for people, like, smiling and shit, and they like my shit. And it's all positive.
That's
vibes,
very
so
good.
that's all
I'm
right.
very proud of you for that. Mama's very proud of you for that.
Please don't say that.
Yeah. That's my name. You can say whatever I want.
Wait,
My
your
name's
name's
Demon
Mama? Like, actually?
Yeah, my name's Demon Mama, and people call me DM or Mama. Yeah.
Wait, your first name is Demon?
What?
I wish I had a soundboard right now. I wish I had my
What?
soundboard. I wish I could play.
I
through
got
the
you, I got
speakers,
you, I
because
got
that
you.
would get
Bang-a-rang. There you go. There's your sound.
That was not the one I would have picked. But all right, fair enough.
What?
Yeah,
I got
maybe,
you. I got you. Don't worry.
You like those music stings a little more. All right,
Kids? Are you racist?
listen. People think you're an asshole because you're an asshole in your videos, and your video did not address any of the arguments. It's funny that you picked.
It did. We're having a debate right now. Clearly, we're talking about an argument I had in the video. Okay.
We're not though, but whatever. Look. Let's just move on to the point.
Yeah,
Let's just agree that we got to go back to the point, because I don't think we're ever going to agree on why people you like people thinking that you're an asshole. Okay.
Well, you do obviously. That's okay.
I mean, I do think you're a bit of an asshole, but like I just said before you came back here, I think there's hope for you. I think there's hope somewhere. I do. Yeah.
Here's the thing, because you already like profiled me on my politics. Like people, even Noah did this. You know.
Well, yeah, it's so hard to figure out your politics. You're so hard to. You're an enigma. You're such an enigma. Your politics. Hola, muy bien, chaotic, muy bien. Yeah, you're such an enigma. It's so hard to figure you out.
Noah Samson. So you made this video on me. It was kind of like a hit piece, and it was actually pretty good. Like,
Noah Samson did a video on you?
it was you know, he had me on some things, and I actually spoke to him in a call, like just completely off cam, and we actually agree on like a lot of issues, like in terms of like politics and stuff. So people always get like this thing where they think I'm like this like right wing adjacent you're like right wing, like epically owning like libs all the time, and that's just like I get high off that. It's like no, dude. Like it's
I
literally
will
just
say
like I
that-
look
that
at like
your channel gives the impression of that. I will say.
I literally
from just
made a video on
cursory
Steven
look.
Crowder like last week. I think Steven Crowder is like
Oh.
a fucking he's a silly goose. Okay.
Yeah, well, I would describe him as something much worse than a silly goose, but sure. I mean, I don't really care. Like, I don't really care how you self-describe.
No, I just
I don't really care how
I
anybody
just wanted to bring that up.
self-describes.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't matter. I just wanted to bring
Sure,
that up
sure,
because
sure.
earlier in the stream, you were saying like conservatives always do conservatives. I'm just like, okay, you know, like we're
Yeah,
you know,
because-
you've already
because,
put me in that
I
box.
mean, because you're spouting conservative views. Like what? What am like? What am like? Maybe if you don't want to be labeled as conservative, then just don't spout out conservative viewpoints.
It's just like just
Well, it's not about putting you in a box. It's about observing conservative trends. So I talk about politics all the time.
True.
I deal with a lot of conservatives, and I deal with a lot of conservative
Like
arguments.
maybe don't give us conservative arguments, and you won't be compared to conservatives. How about that? That would be a nice idea, right?
And
Yeah.
when you see a certain collection of arguments, you know that those are conservative arguments. And so
Yeah,
I don't have any
exactly.
problem saying conservatives make this argument when somebody's
but it's just
making
wrong, though.
literally the.
Oh,
Well, I don't
okay,
know
never mind,
that
never
that
mind.
is.
No, you're right.
Wait, what? Okay. Okay, never mind. He corrected himself, I guess.
You're right.
Yeah.
No, you're saying conservatives make okay, fair enough.
Yeah, yeah,
but I'm not your
yeah.
guy. Like I'm like the boogeyman, bro. Like go after like you know,
Well,
like
but
like,
nobody
you know,
said
get,
you were
get,
the boogeyman. I did like a 30-minute, 40-minute react to your video on me.
Fair
that
enough.
you
Fair enough.
did.
I didn't see the whole stream. I mean, you've been.
So I mean, I could say the
don't
same thing to you. I'm not the boogeyman. Why'd you jump on my really chill, like super compassionate autism gender video?
True. Exactly.
You know, I have videos where I'm like a big asshole, right? Like I know I can admit that. Like I fucking roast the shit out of people sometimes.
Same,
And yeah, so like I don't know what
think you know that.
provoked you to
No, because
I
it
don't
was
know
just, it was just, bro. I'm sorry, but like autism, gender, like, come on, like,
Okay, but wait.
Come on. Come on. Well, come on. I know you think you have arguments, but have you considered that? Come on. Have you considered come on?
Can you tell me what? Can you remember what I said? What I was explaining through
yeah.
autism
So,
gender?
and I'm sure you know you'll correct me. I'm saying,
Sure.
you said that there are people with autism that their autism affects their life so heavily that it influences their gender identity.
Yeah,
And-
and if I can like sort of, that's pretty accurate. There's a couple little things I would add on, which is that I would say is that gender is already something that is highly social. It is gender is something that is very lot of gender. Even people who are conservative, even people who disagree with my interpretation of gender, my overall interpretation of gender, would say that like gender has a lot of performative and you know,
True, and one of those things would be
expressive
giving
acts-
girls' pants a lack of pockets. I agree. That's bad.
Well,
that's because
sure.
these people.
But what I'm trying to say is that if gender is something that is highly social, highly performative, and highly like expressive, then it makes perfect sense to me that some people who are autistic would say, "Oh my God, like my experience with gender just doesn't map." to The
Right.
experience that a lot of
And it makes sense. Like it makes perfect sense.
people seem to talk about, because autism is a type of neurodivergence that strongly or you know pretty majorly impacts and affects how you socialize, how you express yourself,
Yeah.
all these sorts of things. Like I don't know how that's a controversial statement. I just think that's pretty blatantly true. And if that's true, then the idea that
The lack of pockets? No. Also, like the pockets thing is very interesting because in Poland, women's pants do have pockets, you know? So that's a pretty interesting thing. Like, usually the main way to tell quote unquote men's jeans apart from women's jeans is the side of the button to button up. Just take estrogen and you will have a cleavage as well.
somebody could basically say, yeah, this man-woman shit doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. I just prefer to use the term autism gender. Like,
Okay,
I don't use
so-
that term personally, but I'm sure that I don't see any problem with people using it. And I don't really see what's worthy of mocking it with it either.
Okay, so there's what you just said.
Oh, there we go. Is he going to take the? Is he going to make me cringe by saying what you just said is reasonable and I agree with it, which will just, I don't know, demonstrate that he has not watched the video? Ah, right. Men on the right and women on the left. Something like that. I can actually never tell. Like, I actually have problems with remembering stuff like that. I never do remember which side is the man, which side is the woman. I have no clue, actually. I just, like, I don't know. I will just try to choose the girl one to feel the euphoria of having the side of button, you know? To be honest, I think the lack of pockets is because our society wants women to be elegant, and having crap in pockets is not elegant. Why is that? Tell me. Okay, you will tell me about buttons. I think this combo that the general teacher, why would you need to go out and you don't do things? I mean, you don't need to, like, this just all buy bags.
And then there's the autism gender. So when people hear things, when they hear like something just like autism gender, they're gonna make a lot of assumptions about it, and they're gonna like just hear it, and just hearing that word kind of just like autism gender, right? You just thoroughly explained that yes, autism affects the way that people look at the world. It affects the way, the lens in which they view the world. It affects their gender.
Well, okay, that does not explain why you mocked the video in which Demon Mama has said the exact same thing that she's saying now. Ah. This is actually pretty wacky and interesting at the same time. This is so wacky, but also it's interesting. That makes sense. That answer makes sense. But it also makes me question myself because I have no idea which side is the man one and which side is the woman one. So it means I have no idea which side is the harder one to do on your own. I have no idea which one is supposed to be the harder one, the harder side. Wow. Damn.
Presentation, maybe, I don't know, right?
I think
There's
it
that,
does,
which is
yeah.
like I mean, that's probably true. Maybe you know, for not for everybody. But the entire point is it's like, okay, there's that, and then there's just like saying autism gender, which is just like then it's like I said this in my video. In order to like that word kind of assumes that both autism and gender they kind of lose their meaning because you're associate. And
No,
I
I
said,
don't
and you
think
can.
so.
Okay, well,
See-
in the argument that I made in the video is that autism does not fit on the male-female spectrum, which is that the word gender implies usually.
Oh, with Otro. This is welcome to the stream. First of all, this is a very nice debate, very funny debate. I think this might be the debate of the year 2023. Okay, I think this will be. It will be a long time before we will get as wacky a debate as this one, just based of what we have seen so far. So strap yourself in, maybe rewind a little bit to get the full context of what's going on, and enjoy yourself because I sure am enjoying myself. Okay, I am enjoying myself I'm living my life to the max right now. Like, I'm making a video game in the background, I'm listening to Demon Mama, which is always nice. She has shown us a whole range of very heartwarming and wholesome smiles. So you will not just experience cringe in this debate, you will also experience wholesomeness, if that is what you come here to experience. Women did have servants to help dress them back in the day as well, but it's clearly infantilizing. True.
Something sitting within that. Otherwise, you're basically opening it up to be like, and this is going to be like a like remember when those people were like the attack helicopter thing? Do you remember that thing?
Of course.
It's,
How
it's,
could I? I'm a trans woman. How could I ever forget that shit gets thrown at me literally every single day? It's fucking stupid. But
yeah,
also,
I agree with you.
You have to understand though that there's a big
finish
difference.
this really quickly?
Yeah.
Oh, now he's trying to be civil. True, thank you, TK. There would be this that they just keep putting the buttons on different sides this day. True, obsessive harsh. Must be in the blueprint, true. Gender does not have to correspond to female or male. Oh, that's a whole topic, right? Like, keep in mind, even if we just talk about sex, this is wrong, right? Because we know now that sex is much more complicated, but that's a whole different topic, right?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this is the last point that I'm making, is that it's like that thing never made sense because it's just like it's this plane, right? It doesn't fit in the male-female spectrum. So you're saying like, oh, like attack helicopter gender. It's like stupid, right? Because it doesn't fit on that spectrum. Now you're saying autism gender. It's like, okay, but then you could make the same argument saying like, okay, well, I've been a pilot my whole life, right? So you're saying like, oh, like has me being a pilot affected the way I look at like the lens in which I view the world? It's like you know what I'm saying? It's like the same line of reasoning.
If it specifically affects your gender, I think it would be fine. Like I don't have a problem with that. If there was a group of people who felt like pilot gender was the way that they understood gender, I would have a similar approach to autism gender. What I'm trying to point out here, and in fact, it's funny because you said that you just said here, like people react to the word, and that's literally what I was talking about in my video, which you kind of bowled over in your.
It's like giggler gender, which is of course what I am. And by being gigglers, you are also all giggler genders. It's true. It's true and based. I think it's based. Don't you think it's based? It's based in reality. It's based on a genetical blueprint.
Video. There's actually a part where you
Wait a minute. We all giggle. We are genetically predisposed to giggling. You know? Which means that giggle gender is real because it has a genetical blueprint. Oh my.
play a clip of me saying people react poorly to that word, and then you cut it there and then react poorly to the word, and you don't actually listen to me going, but if you think about it for a second, it actually changes that. It actually, you can actually make sense of it. And this is what I'm trying to push back against, which is like the knee-jerk reaction to just hear a word and immediately assume that you think it's funny or stupid. When I'm saying it might not be. People have a very good reason for doing that. But also, I wanted to address one thing that you said, which is this idea of a male-female spectrum. I don't think that exists. And I don't think that science currently believes that it exists either. The male-female spectrum is perhaps something that some people use as a sort of mental.
True, there's like a bipolar, not bipolar, bipedal, bimodal, not bipedal. My God, I'm so literate. Bimodal, bimodal distribution of traits. There we go. I have managed to get into the right word eventually.
Mental model for how gender works, but I just don't think that it's real. I think that most people exist like all over the place. If you were to draw a male-female spectrum, there are so many different types of people and so many different types of expression that you wouldn't be able to
giggler
on a male-female spectrum.
Instead,
you have
modal.
People going all in these different directions. And I mean, how do you address people who actively
I'm funny. Yeah, we can make new gender. Gender is a social concept, so it doesn't have to be strictly male, female. Male, female are sexes, not gender. You know? Like genders are like man, woman. Male, female is like sexes. Gender is not binary, but now we also know that sex isn't binary either. You know? So you can be somewhere in there when it comes to the bimodal distribution of traits. in sex, but also you can have like some form of like a gender identity, you know. It's all very cool, you know. I think it's cool. I believe it's cool, you know. It's all very nice.
Like create, like for example, like androgynous models who intentionally try to agitate people's ability to detect male and female. Like they're doing that intentionally as an artistic statement. They're saying like, you can't tell that I'm a male or a female because these things don't make sense. So I don't believe that there's that type of spectrum. And I don't believe that you have to be bound to a male-female spectrum in order to have a good idea. I think that yeah,
obviously. I mean, like, yeah, sure. Like, you don't have to, whatever. Like, you don't have to think about any of that in order to like have valid opinions on anything. But the argument there's two arguments that I was making. So the first one we kind of I'm sure we can get back to that after we deal with this, which is like the wording thing, right? So you're saying that like, oh, if you think about it for a while, it actually makes a lot of sense, right? It's just like, okay, I guess like.
And now you're trying to be serious. Now you're trying not to be a memer. There are 57 genders, and every time someone whines, we had one. True.
If what you expect is like, okay, you take that word, then think about like, okay, this is the line of reasoning we're using, which is that, okay, autism affects the lens in which you view the world, which could influence your gender. Okay, fine, right? But that's, again, you've already assumed that it's about utility at the end of the day, right? It's about like, language is meant to be efficient. It's meant to communicate ideas quickly,
disagree.
Effectively.
Yeah. I have a strong disagreement with you on that. I don't think that that's true at all. I think that some language is designed to be communicated quickly and efficiently. I think other language is meant to be accurate, and I care about both of those things in their correct context.
True.
For example, let me give an example. I think that Morse code is a type of language that is designed to be very efficient. It's meant to communicate quickly across radio, very important information so that people don't die usually, or something along those lines. But I think that a novel, for example, this absolutely enormous book that I have here titled Dune by Frank Herbert, I love the book, this is a huge book. This is not meant to be efficient. It's meant to be accurate. It's meant to accurately portray a story and a set of emotions. And I just don't think that you can just simplify language down to being efficient all the time.
Okay,
and also,
well, I'm saying that. Okay,
go ahead.
Do you have more to say? Okay, cool.
I was going to say, the only other thing I was going to say was just that that when people have a bad reaction to autism gender, I think it's because they have been primed to believe certain things about autism, and they have been primed to believe certain things
like
about
that's a whole other, like, there could be a whole segment, a whole video essay, a whole Demon Mama could do a whole stream about how people, like, how autism is totally like about beliefs about autism, how like historically those beliefs have affected a lot of things. Like, this is like a really big topic, right? Like, society has still not really moved to a good place when it comes to how autism is perceived, in my opinion at least.
About gender, and that they don't actually take the time like we're doing right now. And you have admitted now in this conversation that actually, once you do think about it, it can make a little bit of sense to you. You've kind of proven my point that like engaging honestly with the idea can actually have a better result than just sort of making fun of it off the surface.
Okay, well, I don't think I ever denied that, like, what you actually said. I mean, I don't...
You watched the video, and in the video, Demon Mama has actually said the exact same things that she had said here, so, like, yeah, you have. We have it on video. We have your reaction video. You should take it down, it's embarrassing.
I don't think I've ever said, like, oh yeah, autism can never affect the way that someone views their gender. I mean, that's pretty obviously true. I think a lot of things can do that, especially something that's like a mental disorder like autism, right? But so, okay, you think that language, accuracy versus efficiency. The point is that at the end of the day, a lot of language is designed to be efficient, designed to be accurate. I mean, look at why we have like acronyms and shit, like TBH, like LOL. Like, this was all designed to basically compress our... Okay, yeah.
But no, I was just gonna make a point on those specifically. I'm not trying to like to go over you, but go ahead if you have more you want to say on that. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I just
All right.
there's something
Yeah,
specific
I'm
about those.
I'm saying that there's a lot of the language we use is designed to be efficient, okay? And you're basically asking like most people, or or not. Your I guess I don't know if it's a request, but or maybe like a hope is that people will take the time to to um to expand like the way they view individual words like autism, gender, that they would take the time to understand what that means and how that.
Well, that's great. You didn't take that time. You just mocked it. You made a really ridiculous video to mock it. And what adds salt to this injury is that at the start of your ridiculous video, you said that you have sat on Demon Mama's video for a while, that you actually pondered reacting to it for a long time.
It's like how they view
Right?
the world. When in reality, that's just not how people operate. People are busy. People use the language that they know. They have a pattern.
Yeah, this is why they depend on content creators to quickly and accurately give them the information. And you're not really doing any, like you're not doing the situation favors by just doing a silly mock thing instead of just giving people the correct like thing. You're just making things worse. You're talking about a bad situation, and your video just contributed to it being worse.
Of words
Ridiculous.
that they use to interact.
Like its job, it is a job for people like you that make YouTube videos, and I'm circling around Demon Mama, but I'm actually thinking of that Minecraft dude. It is the job of people like him to make videos for people who are too busy to check all the information and think about things, and to give them the explanation, right? That it's not just some silly thing. There are reasons behind them, right? But you didn't. You just mocked it. You just decided to be part of the problem.
With the world that they live
I wonder if Demon Mama was saying any of this.
And that's totally fair. And I'm sure, like, yes,
Well, keep in mind that like that was the purpose of my video. My video, which you mocked, was the purpose of the video was to do that basically to do it for people, to say, hey, here's this concept. Let me explain it to you in a 9-minute video. I think that's a pretty very very short thing that somebody can read. But so why? So like, don't you see that like?
Yeah, exactly. Demon Mama did what this dude is supposed to be also doing. Demon Mama did it, and this guy just mocked it. Listening to Chad start the debate really does turn into a therapy session about their ability to square their intuition with their positions. True. Isn't that a fact?
You're the one, like what your response is like the opposite of what you're saying here. Like you're saying people don't understand things all the time. I went out of my way to explain something to people, and your response was to sort of scoff at it and think that it's absurd, even though you didn't seem to actually care what the content of it was. That seems kind of like a you problem and not a me problem, right?
Okay, well, no, I think it is a you problem in the sense that you basically you kind of have like this niche word, and I know you weren't the one who came up with it, but it's a word that basically like nobody knows. Like if you go out on the street, and I'm in college, if I go,
Yeah, and the point of a video that explains it is to introduce the term to people that don't know it. This is like nobody knows it, so people can see the video, and now they know it. This is how learning works. I can't believe I even have to. I cannot believe that I even have to explain this. Nobody knows terms just out of the gate. There are many terms that people don't know, and then you go out and you learn the terms. This is how learning works. People don't know something, they go out, they see a video, read a book, I don't know, listen to audio, they hear the term for the first time, they hear an explanation about the term, and now they have a new term to use. Voila! We have now learned a new term. So are you saying that people should not teach new terms because people don't know the term? Like, what?
Go to anybody in my college, say autism, gender. If they're not like terminally online, if they're not
Well, see,
super
now you're
involved.
flavoring it now, because I know literally multiple people who identify with that phrase. They might not,
Right,
they
okay,
might
but-
not 100% swear by it, but so I don't know if that's a good measure. Like you saying that somebody has
Like,
to be,
what's like, what? This is so nuts. This is such nonsense. Just because people don't know what term, it doesn't mean that it's like, maybe it's time to spread the term in that case.
be terminally online to believe this. Well, I don't think so.
No,
I
I
know
didn't say
people who
believe it. I
aren't.
didn't say believe it. I'm saying like to be
Like, I'm really starting to think that the term terminally online is becoming overused. It's being used for everything. It's just starting to become like a term that means anything that I don't like is terminally online. If you don't know something though, it helps to listen. Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
familiar with it. Like
Oh,
there's so
boy.
much shit that even like with everything, like the stuff like on the internet that I either find funny or that
Like common sense TM will only get you so far, okay? Like at some point you will need to start learning things. Like
understand or this or that. It's all because I'm like involved in a certain community, right? Or on this internet thing, right?
Well,
Where- and-
sure.
well, what is the point of mocking a community then? That's kind of that's even sillier. Just leave the community alone then. If the phrase only exists within the community, if it's used only within the community, then why do you butt in? Why do you make a mocking video about a thing that you say only exists within a community and nobody knows about it? Like, then what are you doing? What's the point? Like, if nobody knows about it, a certain community uses the term and it's all fine, then what's the problem? Like you just made your whole video, this whole response mocking video even more pointless. Thank you.
Same
Don't
thing
you
with
feel
you.
like
It's like
that's
everybody in
limiting?
your community understands autism, gender,
But they
because
don't.
they watch you.
They
hear-
don't. No, they don't. That's why I made the video. I made the video to teach people. I made
Yes,
the video so
who are
that
in
more
your
people can
community.
understand it. And it was a response to people in my very broad community. I mean, like the general political space talking about autism gender because they heard somebody mention it. And then I made a video explaining it to people so that because I believe that on topics like this, we should try to think first and talk second. We should try to understand.
Which is the opposite of Cheetah. She talks first and then, well, the talking is done. There's no point in thinking anymore.
people what they're saying because we might actually learn something.
but also like the wording, like the autism gender wording, like I just
The ship has sailed.
because of like the wording. There's what you're
What?
saying,
that's
so it's
fine,
like it's like
but other people don't, right? Like the other people
Yeah.
have found value
yeah.
in this. So
but,
like
but I'm
what
saying,
you're
I'm
sa-
saying the
what
truth
you're
is
failing
that
to do
most
here
people
though
agree
is
with me. That's the truth.
well, I don't care. Lots of people.
Most people agree with me. There you go. Appeal to faith from our favorite propaganda glossary. Most people agree with me. Okay. My God.
kinds of stupid things. Like I mean, all kinds of people believe extremely
That's
dumb
my
stuff.
point. Is efficiency? Is that if the world is
What's
unanimous in
the-
agreeing something or not unanimous, but like if the most people that I can talk to like agree that like okay, yeah, this is useless,
Appeal to faith? For real? He's doubling down on the appeal to faith. My gosh, Obsessive Forge has created the greatest document of all time. I should add, change the name and add the greatest document of all time to Obsessive Forge's glossary of, the whole glossary of propaganda because it's so great. You know? Like, it's so amazing. It's the greatest document ever made because once you start reading it, you start to notice it everywhere, you know? Like, what the hell? Everybody agrees with me. Any reasonable person would.
this or this is stupid or that's not what that means. Like when you say like, oh, this is, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
I don't know
then I
what
don't
you're
really
saying.
care
Okay,
if
so
it
hold on a second.
registers with,
What
like,
if
your-
it? What?
your
Let me
worldview.
give you an example of a real historical example of when your position would, where applying this to like a broader subject would be useful. When Copernicus, Nikolai Copernicus, you know, the scientist, when he made the claim that the Earth, that the sun did not revolve around the Earth, but rather that the Earth revolved around the sun. Most people in the world, the vast majority of people in the world, did not believe that to be true.
Okay, you're
They
talking about like a
believed that-
scientific falsehood. Well, that's not the same
Well,
thing.
yeah,
We're talking about
but
no, we're talking about
it
communication
does-
and the way we use words.
But it
You're
applies
assigning
completely-
meaning to something.
It applies the same. Wait, it applies
No,
the
it
same.
doesn't.
Yes, it does. If
you're
you
implying
are, if you are
objective
saying, wait, hold on.
truth. You are
No,
implying
I'm not.
objective
I'm not
truth.
implying
Yes, you
objective
are.
truth.
You're saying, well,
I'm
do you
using
think
an
the world is flat?
I'm using an
Jesus. It's literally just a compilation of logical fallacies and propaganda stats identified by other organizations. Obsessive Forge. Would you be okay for us to share the glossary on the server? Would you be comfortable if we share the document that you have created for people to be able to like have it all in one place? This glossary is really valuable. You know? Would you be okay if we share it? It's compiled, it's really good. I love it. It's my favorite document in the entire universe. You know? Did you know this about me? Did you know how much I love this document? Okay. Let's continue the... okay. So let me see. Okay. Okay. Exactly, you make the best things here. Okay, I will continue.
example of objective truth to illustrate the fact that if you are unwilling to consider new ideas simply because they're not something that you've heard before, then and that you're telling me that you're telling me that I shouldn't teach people about a word that they don't know because they don't know it. That's a self-defeating position.
I did not say.
Exactly. Thank you, Demon Mama, for basically pointing out what I just said a few minutes ago. You know, thank you for it. But like, yeah, like if people don't know it, then it's not worth knowing. No. If you don't know it, just learn it. Make some effort.
I didn't say you
Well,
shouldn't
you did,
teach
though.
people on something because they don't know it. Otherwise, like, education wouldn't exist.
Okay.
Right, thank you. You're starting to get it.
Okay,
not my take.
but don't you think that okay, be honest. Don't you think that kind of flies in the face of the message of the video that you made mocking my video? Don't you think
Yeah,
that
because-
that type
because
of
I
way-
think-
True, it does. It literally does. My avatar is so weirdly like, why am I turned like this? Is it position? Like it was cute for a bit, but now it's like weird. I mean, what did we expect from the initial video?
Wait, don't you think that type of behavior discourages, not me, obviously, I don't give a fucking shit. I'm like, I can take so much shit from so many people. I've been doing this for a long time. But like don't you think that the goal of that would be to kind of like mock and discourage that from happening? So you
Yeah,
are kind of
yeah,
taking the position
but-
that people shouldn't learn new words.
Yeah, if the words suck, like, yeah.
Does it suck? Like
Yes,
you still
I
haven't been
think
able,
it's totally
but you
useless.
haven't been
No,
able to
okay.
prove that. All that
Okay,
you've been able to say is that you personally.
Why does it suck? Why is it useless? What? This is such nonsense. This is the most nonsensical thing I have ever heard. Lucy, does one of those fallacies reference and appeal to absurdism? Let's see. Let me look into the glossary. Lucy has that. I should always have it open. Let me see. Should always have the glossary open. Is it here? Where are the PDFs? Where are the PDFs? Gigglers. I'm looking for the PDFs and I cannot find them. Cannot find the PDFs. Gigglers, please tell me. Please tell me, please. Okay. Where is that? Where is it? Will you please tell me? Propaganda glossary. Chat to always. Okay, where is it? Appeal to absurdism. Yeah, it is sort of like it, right? Where is it? Where is the appeal to absurdism? I think you mean the appeal to ridicule. I think the appeal to ridicule, right? Like this, the appeal to ridicule. Appeal to ridicule. Trying to convince someone to accept an argument in order to avoid becoming the object of ridicule may take form of an ad hominem or straw man attack. Ridicule and sarcasm deny discussion. This was actually the brand of this person's response video. Like, appeal to ridicule. You better agree that it's ridiculous, or I'll ridicule you, I guess.
Had a fragile reaction to the word.
Do you want to get into the etymology? Like, we can do that.
I don't care. I don't know what that has to do with anything.
Yeah, he basically just ridiculed the concept. I think it's absurdism is basically similar, right? Like the idea of the terms is similar, like that, making the term absurd. So we will so you ridicule if you don't accept that it's absurd. Which is basically what he's saying. It's absurd, so I ridicule it. Like these are very tied. They are very tied together.
I don't know.
What
Do you
I'm
know what
trying to
etymology
say,
means?
Yes, I know what etymology means. Thank you.
Okay, cool.
What I'm trying to say is that I don't understand how the etymology has anything to do with the situation. A word has been.
So we're talking about words, and I'm talking about the meaning of the word, which is
right. And you were trying to make the argument that what
works.
matters is as efficacy, and then I pointed out that efficacy is not, efficiency,
and accuracy. Well, if you want to do the
efficacy.
accuracy argument too, I don't think auti gender that combo of words accurately represents what you actually want it to.
Well, it's not me. It's other people who've been using it. I was making the argument that I think that it does. I think
True, you're right. Like, you don't dictate to people that use a term how accurate it is. Like, people use it among themselves. You just said that it's used within a specific community. True. I think I share the war. I despise the term common sense. Like, it's so ridiculous. Common sense is a dog whistle. Common sense is a dog whistle to those who just try to, it's a right-wing dog whistle at this point.
Well, yeah, I do agree with it because I think that as we've shown in this very discussion, that a word can't contain all of its meaning. Like, for example, if I say the word computer, you know what I mean when I say computer, even though the etymology of the word computer does not actually tell you that it's an electronic device on which I do my emails and record my show.
Okay, we have paused in the perfect position. Meridian is our good friend. This could be a segment of its own. Meridian is our good friend and the creator of the chaotic poppy. Chaotic Poppy is sort of a group that is forming, and it is also a way of thinking, a philosophy, if you could say. Chaotic Poppy is a group, and the group's goal is to give people the ability and the means and the education and sometimes even the support to allow people to make their dreams come true. This is how I understand Chaotic Puppy. You know? That's it for now because I won't spoil anymore. This is true. Understand me? And they are a good giggler. Is it to be accurate? The people are describing their neurodivergence and how it relates to their gender. Yeah, of course. Of course it is accurate. Like, just because one person sees it as ridiculous, it doesn't mean it's inaccurate.
You know, because of other context, all language has this. No word can have the entire
using
meaning.
A noun, so you're using a noun that we used to describe a certain thing. It's just, you can use that with like apple, right? How did you know that I meant apple? It's because we assigned that to that, right?
No, I'm saying
autism, gender. These words already
that...
have meanings. We just put them together.
I know I like to joke about it being Puppy the little dog, but I would rather that the correct version of the word actually spreads than the jokey one, okay? I actually, care about the correct name of what Mirdian wants to create to be spread out there,
and tried to create new meaning that actually doesn't accurately stem from the two words you put together.
Except it does. No. Yes, if you take more than a moment to not just sort of like
this is why I can agree with your actual definition of the word without agreeing with the actual word you used to symbolize the meaning.
If somebody, hold on, I want to try to understand your position here seriously, because I'm having trouble understanding. It feels like what you're doing is like, it feels like you've kind of admitted to a number of things that you hadn't thought about before, but you don't want to let go of the original point.
Well, like
autism, gender. Autism, gender.
Like what though?
Hey, wait, hold on. Let me explain. I'm going to explain it to you. Autism, gender. Somebody who feels like autism influences their gender. Now, if you see that word, a word cannot contain in itself its own definition. That is not how words work, like at all, ever. Words are always they are symbols that mean something else. But I think that somebody saying that my gender is influenced by autism gender, seems pretty logical to me. And if you don't like it, I have to wonder if it's because you have a pre-existing bias towards the word autism or towards the word gender. Because you're trying to say that it ruins their meaning, but it doesn't. Gender is a very, very complex subject, is a very, very complex thing that is made up of the way you dress, the way you act, your role in society, a whole bunch of things. It's super loaded. Gender is like a crazy loaded word. Autism
and that's, okay, so right. I remember you had, this is, can I quote you? Because you said, you said gender is an aesthetic, right? That is why you think this word works.
I said more than that. I think I said that it was a lot more, but the gender is ultimately mostly aesthetic.
When did I see this? I saw a video. This is how I discovered your channel. What's that guy's name? Short Fat Otaku?
No, dude, you gotta not watch that guy. That guy's like poison, man. Don't watch that guy.
He was nice to me.
He might be
Short Fat Otaku. Oh no.
Nice to you, but like he's got like brain rot, man. That guy's like an old school loser.
He's a centrist.
He's not a centrist. Oh man, I gotta tell you, I gotta be completely real with you. I'm gonna be 100% real with you. That man is not a centrist. Not only is he not a centrist, that dude's like pushing
through.
Are you familiar with the term?
Centrist?
No. Destiny considers himself the omni-liberal. I think he's pretty firmly in the liberal.
So he's
camp.
left. Okay, cool.
No,
Well,
no,
I
no.
think-
Liberal. I mean, liberal is if you're talking about the American political spectrum, liberal is left, but liberal is not necessarily a leftist position. We're getting into complex things. In America, he would be considered left-leaning, yes, but no, he would not consider. I don't think he would consider himself a centrist. At least not recently. Maybe in the past he did.
Yeah, okay. Well, whatever. I saw one video from Short Fat Otaku, and he said, or he showed one of your clips, and then you said gender is essentially an aesthetic, right? So that if that's the
mostly
definition,
is, yeah.
So exactly. So
It mostly
That's-
is, yeah. It's not entirely
okay.
that, but yeah.
So in my video, when I said, in order for you to think this word works or has meaning or something, right? You have to not reject either. You have to reject either the word or fuck. What did I say? You have to either not think autism means anything or not think gender means anything. And you seem
I
to not
disagree with
think
that.
gender means anything. You seem to think it's just an aesthetic.
No. I mean, okay, so wait, hold on. Those two things are contradictory. You said that I think that gender is an aesthetic, and then you also just said that I think that gender means nothing. Those are contradictory. If, like, I do think
Do you think
most,
aesthetics really matter though?
Well, yes, but it depends on what you mean by when you say matter. Let me explain. So when
Didn't Jordan Peterson say that? What?
What? Say like sexual just oh no. Indigent, he's a centrist. Like that's a good thing, yeah. That's funny.
Do you mean happen?
Well,
Sorry,
I
sorry,
mean,
that was
no,
a funny
I do
clip.
think that the word matter is a pretty major one. Like when you ask somebody, does something matter to you? You could mean, is it important to you in this moment? You could mean, is it like? There's a lot of things that could be meant by that. But let me explain instead of jumping.
Okay,
on that.
well, when I say
let me
matter,
explain it.
can I explain what I? Okay.
Go ahead.
When I say I don't think it matters, I mean it in the sense of like, so I've been in the airport a few times recently, and I see people that look nothing alike ever, and I just don't. It's just like, okay, whatever. That's how they look. That's their aesthetic, right? It's like, okay, like it doesn't. It's like what it's. You know what I'm saying? It's just like in one ear out the other type of thing. It's like it doesn't mean anything to me. Like it doesn't.
Well,
and a lot of
I
people,
do
don't
think that
they
aesthetic
care.
matters a lot. I think that it matters to a lot of people. I think that's the reason why everybody dresses so differently. I think that people
Right.
dress differently because they want to portray something about themselves. I'm wearing a demonic woman shirt with,
Completely
you know,
allergic to
relatively, you know.
Bro, why am I having this conversation?
Oh, don't
Sorry,
read chat.
someone's-
Don't read
Okay.
chat. It's just stay focused on the actual. We're having a good conversation here. Don't listen to chat. They're ridiculous. They're just having fun. I don't know if it was your chat or mine, but
I'm not live. I'm just here. I'm just having a talk. People,
sure, just let them have their in conversation. They're talking
so
with each other.
silly guys. You guys are a bunch of silly geese. I hope you know.
Yeah, chat is always silly geese. Whenever you're having a conversation like this, never watch chat. It will not do anything.
I don't even
good.
hit guys. Everyone in chat, like we're
What did
boys.
I say?
Like,
You gotta
don't even
igno-
think
you gotta
about
ignore
it.
You gotta ignore it.
It's not even
So,
like that, y'all.
the whole thing is like people dress differently for a whole lot of reasons. So I think aesthetic does matter to people. When I say that gender is mostly aesthetic, I mean that in our society, like nobody goes around with a phone app that scans your chromosomes. When nobody goes around doing, you know, genetic or blood tests on other people. When we talk about gender, we are almost always referring to the way a person dresses, the way a person talks, the types of pronouns that they use. These are all
Like he's been bullied. So strong boy, such a strong boy, but so bullied.
things. So in our society, at the very least, and I think in pretty much all societies, the gender is very fixated on aesthetic. And it's not only, but it's largely fixated on that, which means I don't think that gender means nothing. I just think that that when we are talking about gender and when we are making societal claims about gender, that we should keep in mind that in our society, it's mostly aesthetic. It doesn't mean much else than that. And so we should keep that in mind when we're doing these analyses. For example, I think that anybody should be able to wear a dress. I think that anybody should be allowed to wear khakis. I think that anybody should be allowed to wear a three-piece suit. I don't think it matters what gender you identify as at all. Male, female, man, woman, non-binary, tree, whatever. I don't care. Any of those should be able to wear whatever. I don't care. We can go as Yeah, exactly. We could no, I mean, because I'm trying to wait. I slipped that in there as an extent to as a point to say I don't care how far you go in your gender, in your interpretation of gender, even the more like more out there ones. I don't care. Like you should have the right to dress however you want. So the fact that we have harsh gender rules, we have very strict gender policing in our society, meaning like men who wear dresses often get made fun of a lot. Why? Gender is mostly aesthetic, so why should we ever make fun of a man who wears a dress?
So
that makes no sense to me.
This just boils down to like our disagreement on the utility of gender, right? So again, like, okay, maybe I'm not going to be able to, because I don't do the politics stuff. I don't do the debate stuff. This is not what I do, right? So when it comes to like live like discussions, when I'm like trying to explain stuff to people, with people who are like doing this all the time and they're like level 1000 maxed out debate skills, it's like, okay, yeah,
well,
sure.
Thank you.
Like,
it's flattering.
All right, well, okay, well, do you not do this all the time? Like, am I wrong? Like,
I do actually. Yes, I do debates all the time. It's true. I do have like God level rhetoric, so it's very difficult to defeat me in an argument.
Well, I'm not trying to defeat you or anything. I mean, that's not what I'm not here to like take on the final boss or anything. I'm literally just saying like we simply like we just view gender, like we just view that word differently. You're saying it's just an aesthetic, and then you explain like why you think it is. And I'm saying I think the way that we gender things and the role it plays in our society is not just an aesthetic. It does have utility. So if it was just an aesthetic and males wearing dresses was like the popular thing and it was like societally constructed, like do you think that all men would wear dresses? Like do you think that that's just how it would be?
Cute. Obsessivores already gave this example.
Well, I'm not trying to defeat you.
Like we will guys are just gonna.
I mean, that's not what I'm not here to like take on the final boss or anything. I'm literally just saying like we simply like we just view gender, like we just view that word.
Oh, we're gonna listen to this again, okay? Obsessivores already gave us kills as a counterexample to this nonsense.
Differently. You're saying it's just an aesthetic, and then you explain like why you think it is. And I'm saying I think the way that we gender things and the role it plays in our society is not just an aesthetic. It does have utility. So if it was just an aesthetic and males wearing dresses was like the popular thing and it was like societally constructed, like do you think that all men would wear dresses? Like do you think that that's just how it would be?
I mean, yeah, I do actually. I do think that, and in fact, if you just go back, if you like,
actually,
this is something.
Ask you a better question.
Sure.
Okay, so don't actually. No, you said don't read chat. Okay, so let me ask you this, right? If it is all an aesthetic, right? So what's stopping us? Do you think from having it be the case, like the norm completely shifts, like all men wearing dresses all the time? Do you think that really is just society, or do you not think that like the clothing we wear, or like other things, so many?
But imagine thinking aesthetics don't have utility. True.
Other things actually have like utility and like what they provide for us. Like
I think the vast majority.
Can I just say one more thing?
Oh, sorry. I thought that was the end of your question.
An example of that would be like if it was like the quote societal standard, right, where there's like the fashion, there's no gendered fashion, because I agree, like some fashion is gendered when like it shouldn't be. Like if I have a monster truck logo on my t-shirt, like whatever, right? So they're gonna think that like that's for the boys. So
sure.
Basically, like okay, if there was no utility, it's like then why wouldn't everyone, or if it was the trend to do so, why wouldn't everyone wear bras? Why wouldn't everyone wear like thongs and stuff, or like guys too? It's like, well, no. It's like, well, there's no utility for me wearing a bra. There's no utility in me wearing a thong.
A thong? What's the utility of wearing a thong?
Okay, so there's a couple of things that have been touched on here, but I can answer all of your questions there. So the first one is, do I think it's large, that it's mostly society? Yes, I do think it's mostly society. I think a lot of men would actually, and I think a lot of men do actually, they keep it on the down low, but a lot of men do actually like engaging in what is typically seen as women's fashion choices. Makeup or nails. I know a lot of cishet dudes, cisgender, not trans, heterosexual dudes who really like the idea of getting nail polish, whether it's colored nail polish or clear nail polish. They like the idea of their nails looking good, and they don't do it because that's not acceptable by society. And when I say it's not acceptable by society, I mean people get bullied really bad about it. And in fact, people will get harassed even in their workplaces. If you're a professional and you show up one day, you're a professional guy, and you show up and you have painted nails with a color on them, some bosses will literally fire you over that. It's very
True. Aesthetics aren't some magical consideration separate from it. True.
very weird. It's very
That's
weird.
true.
But why? There's no real reason for it. There are a lot of men who really like nail polish. And if you ask them in a room where they're anonymous, men will reply very strongly that they're actually into things that they won't admit publicly. So yes, I do think a lot of gender is policed on a societal level. There's no genetic reason for it. And also another thing that would speak to this, I just want to make sure that I'm answering your question fully, because I think this is an important question. If you look historically, if you go back in time and you do some historical research on gender history, you will notice that paintings of like nobles and kings, of the literal people who were on the top of society, the paragons of their society at the time, for better or worse, obviously for worse, but that these paragons would often, high heels were exclusively worn by men originally, because it was seen as a way to make you seem more domineering. You were taller and therefore stronger. You can project your power more. It was high heels were never worn by women until like the late 1800s or 1900s even. So for most of history, men wore high heels. Same thing goes for painted nails too.
I don't even care about that. Like, I mean, like.
Well, I'm just trying to make a point to answer your question as to whether I think that gender is social or not, because I don't think there's anything like, there's nothing to me that answers that thing. Now, to answer the other thing, like you said about bras, there are some pieces of clothing that do serve a specific physical purpose that can vary.
True.
Now,
which is based on genetics, which like I think you kind of ignored.
It's not always based on genetics, because keep in mind that there are men who have
We're back to the generics.
Like a lot of men who have tits, not just cis men who have tits, which is there's a lot of them, but there are also trans men who have tits, and they are men who need a bra.
There you go. I guess this, like, unless this person is just a transphobe, then.
And that is more of a need-based thing. And in fact, you might not know this, but that there are actually gynecomastia is a really, which is, cis men like growing breasts basically, or having like whatever. It doesn't matter whether you think it's good or not.
It can be fun. I think.
It can be not so bad. Sometimes it can have some risks, but regardless, the point is that it's actually very common. It's a very common thing, and in fact, on the down low, there are a lot of cis men who buy things called binders, which are they are things that hide that you have fat on your chest, and these are very commonly purchased by cis men. They won't talk about it though, because that would be. Because it violates gender norms. So while I do think that some genetics...
Can I just say something? Because that's different than what you said about the nails thing. The reason why that's done is because it wouldn't actually odd, or it wouldn't fit like the genetic norm of men not having as large breasts as women. Not because there's like a societal standard of men to not paint their nails. That's actually very different. One of those is purely social. One of them is actually genetic.
Well, it has a genetic element. It doesn't mean that it's entirely...
I actually have to pee pretty badly. Can you just let me be?
Sure, go ahead. That's fine. I'll talk to my chat while we wait.
I need to pee! I need to think about my arguments. My gosh.
I actually think this conversation has gone surprisingly well. I did not expect this.
Yeah, this went... Like, this started as a joke, but it turned into an education session, which is, like, nice to see, This is just turning into an education session. I'm gonna press like on this video. Very nice.
This conversation to I did not expect this conversation to go the way to go as positively as it has.
True. So far so good.
I hope that
it won't go off the rails. I hope so too.
Hey, microplastics. I wanna fix it in the next section that we're talking about. I really wanna like lock in on the line here that we're talking about, and separating the, separating this idea of genetics and how far genetics actually go. I did not throw anybody under the bus. Chat is so chaotic. I can only speak of you. I can only speak of chat as a single entity, but you are not a single entity. You are like a flock of starlings, a million different birds, all flying in different directions, but sometimes you fly together in the same way. I was not shitting on you. I was telling the truth, which is if you're in a debate or in an intense conversation, you have to ignore chat, because chat will always be throwing out, somebody in chat is always going to be talking some mad shit or making a dumb joke or saying something that's wrong. You just can't do it. You just have to. Just the way it goes. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome back. I hope everything went fine for you.
Very well.
We were talking about the genetic aspect of certain aspects of gender, and this is where it does get a little bit more complicated. But I'm totally more than happy to discuss it because I don't know. Like, I do think that like the possibility of a cis man developing like breast tissue or fat on their chest is obviously there's some level of genetic involvement there, but there's also a lot of other things that can cause that. Medication,
Wait,
all kinds of
I'm so
things.
sorry to cut you off. Can I respond to one thing that someone in your chat said?
If you must.
One thing.
I'm telling you.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
Okay. Skeptical Pan says, what's the biological reason women can't be topless anyway? Like 100%,
That's true.
like +1. I'm part of the free the titty movement. Okay. Like, let's
That's
just
good,
be
then.
clear on my take on that. Free that thing. Okay. Like,
Well, yeah,
let's
because
not
like, you know, dudes can have their tits out all the time, and they do. I've seen
Facts.
that at the beach many times. So
like,
yeah,
like
I don't
Europe
disagree with you on that.
absolutely is right on that. Like, you know, they don't hide them. You know, so. Let it,
yeah.
you know, let it just for the record. I am part of the free the titty woman. That's not a
Good.
creepy
so
take,
wait, you
Jessica
are, so
Johnson.
you are a pro nudity person then? Damn, we finally figured it out. That's a joke. That's a joke from earlier.
Well, I mean, okay. You like okay, but you're like freaking out like, oh, is he pro nudity? I'm just like, I'm not even saying pro or
No,
anti.
you said
you're expected
you
to
said
wear
that
clothes.
To me. No, you said that to me. You said that. You said, are you pro nudity or something? And I said, what does that mean? That's what you said, not me. I didn't say that. You said that. Now we know you're pro nudity.
Why would you be anti-nude? Like in what? Like,
Good question, my man. Why would you be? Anyway.
Well, okay. Well, hold on. I'm just saying, but like, you know, I don't even know, man. Like.
It's all good. Listen,
Okay.
let's continue with the actual topic, not the distraction. That was mostly just goofing around. But when you talk about that like the bra thing, like that there, you know, that more more women need bras than men do. Yes, that is a genetic aspect, but it's sort of a genetic aspect that is reflective of our it's reflective of the way that we divvy up society. The fact that we call most people who have breasts women, even though many of them aren't. Like I said, there are trans men out there who have breasts and
Right,
aren't
yeah, they
women.
are.
They don't identify as women. They don't live their lives as women at all in any way, shape, or form. They live their lives as men. That just kind of shows that we draw these lines in a very weird way.
Well, I don't know if the
just
lines
think
are
that-
drawn weirdly. I think they're drawn to support the popular, not the popular, the majority of people, right? So when like the reason why bras are gendered for women is because it's mostly women who are gonna have the biggest breasts, and that's not a thing that's done because of like socialization. That's just because of like the biological fact that yes, women are more likely to have bigger breasts.
I mean, I think that there's
you're
some
posing
of
the
it that's
question of
that.
like, is that useful, right? And I think like, yeah, I do think it's useful. And I said this in my video that like,
it
and
is.
then you for some reason tie this to slavery, but I said like for hundreds of years that we've been doing this because it has served utility. And then you said
Well,
like,
but we
slavery
know
served
that
utility, but I
that
was
that
like, nah.
it to some gendered things have some level of utility, but you can't tell me that all of these are correct.
Yeah,
Like,
it
and when I say
translates to
utility, I
everything.
mean it's limited. Lots of things have a small amount of utility, but aren't worth upholding on the broad level. Like for example,
Well, that's just where
I
we
think it's
disagree. I
pretty.
think it is.
Well, I think it's pretty innocuous to say that, like, people who identify as women are most likely going to have, are more likely to have, boobs, to have breast material, have large breasts even, than people who don't. But we know that's not 100% true. And while that particular example isn't like the biggest, like bras, is not the biggest example of what I'm talking about. It ties into other things. Like, for example, we have had for the longest time a gender role that basically says that women are the best homemakers and that they should always take care of children. But we know that that is totally, not only is that not true, it's also harmful. And yet we did it for thousands and thousands of years. Just because we do something for thousands of years does not make it correct. And in fact, it can be really bad. That's why I brought up the slavery example,
Right,
to draw
yeah.
another
That's
thing.
true,
Slavery
it's so
was
true.
done for tens of thousands of years. Most of human history has contained slavery, and I would argue that in certain forms, slavery still
Exactly. Inclusivity will make society stronger, and taking care of vulnerable minorities like what makes democracy strong.
exists to this day. Not in the same way. It's not chattel slavery, but it's a different form of slavery.
Really?
And we know that it's still bad. So
Well,
just
like
because it
human
was
trafficking,
done.
probably.
Yeah, human trafficking. There's wage slavery, which is basically giving someone a wage that's so low that they can never escape. This happens to a lot of immigrants, where they have to make money in order to be sponsored to move somewhere, but they're paid so low that they can never actually save anything.
That's right.
Like literally like $2 a day type pay, which is just impossible.
That is
so that's
true.
like what I would.
And some women just lose. Some women just lose breast tissue. From extreme physical exercise can make one lose their breast tissue because it's fat, and fat burns, right? So you can literally burn your breasts away, right?
Consider to be wage slavery. It's like you are technically being paid. But anyway, that's aside from the point. What I'm trying to say is that just because something has existed for a long time doesn't necessarily mean it's a good thing. I think it's a bad
but the reason
thing.
I brought that up was because genetics and evolution, right? But genetics seem to be lasting like hundreds of years. And the thing about like the clothing thing, that's because of the genetic thing lasting. So social standards are always changing. You agree with that? And,
Of course. But
and slavery was a social standard. It wasn't like a genetic thing. Like white
they
people are more.
they tried to say it was at the time. Like it like this
No,
is
no,
if
I'm,
you-
I'm,
yeah, so
I'm
they
saying,
tried
I'm saying
they
that white
literally
people
tried to
aren't
do that for a long time.
predisposed. I'm saying white people aren't genetically predisposed to like, you know what I'm saying, like to want to own slaves type shit.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
don't. I agree with you, but don't tell that to pro-slavery people before the Civil War, because they believed that was the case. They believed that there was a
Well, I don't really
master
talk to
race
them,
and a slave
so-
race. I know, but what I'm saying is that like people will make all kinds of arguments, and if we want to come to the truth, and if we want to grow as people, then we should interrogate those. And just because something has worked a certain way doesn't necessarily mean that it's a good thing.
Okay,
Like,
well, the point is,
and I think
like,
that's true
regardless
about a lot of
whether or
gender
not, like,
too.
there was like lies about biology back then. The point is that I don't think anyone's going to argue, and then this is like probably like, pretty well researched. I'm going to assume that men and women are different, and that in the
Well, yeah, but like I said before, men and men are different. If you like the genetic differences between you and your cousin who grew up
right,
in
but hold on,
in
can I just
Florida
can I make a
huge.
point? It's like yes,
Sure.
that's true. There is differences between men and men, obviously, right? But this might be controversial, but like 99% of men have wieners, right? And that's going to affect that's why like boxers exist, because like they kind of run down your leg, and it's supposed to, it's supposed to tame the dog, if you know what I'm saying.
What? What?
Right?
Yeah,
so
I mean, but
it's like
this was
that's why we
actually
don't wear
something I brought
thongs,
up
because
earlier.
thongs, if you wear thongs, or if you wear like women's underwear, that guy doesn't really have much room to exist in, so
That's
What?
kind of
true,
the point that I'm
but
making, is there's
also
utility
keep in
out of
mind
that.
that like I was going to point out earlier that like there are a lot of trans women out there, women who have penises, and some who don't. Some trans women.
Sorry, but brother, not do genetics. These are societies where you had no breasts, or you use wraps or something else. True. Karasu speaks the fact. You speak the fact,
Get sexual reassignment surgery.
Rather not the illogical solution of a biological trait, and not the necessary step.
And no longer have a penis. But there are plenty of women out there who have penises, and it's funny because like it's sort of a known thing that that there are types of underwear that are women's underwear that are designed for cis women. They're called boy shorts, if you've ever heard of them. But they are a type of underwear designed for cis women. They're not designed for trans women, that trans women often wear, specifically for the reason that you mentioned, because
Dope.
both cis women and trans women find it more comfortable.
All right, so
like what
you're
I'm trying to
agreeing with
point
me.
out here is Well, no, I'm not agreeing with you. What I'm trying to say is that the gendered part of our society is very random, and it doesn't actually accurately address our needs, and that we should and if you want to get really complex, and I don't want to go like too far into things here because we've been talking for a while, and I don't want to like go into a whole other thing. But if you look at what the purpose of gender is in our society, most of it is to control people's behavior to behave in a certain way. It's to tell people you need to be in the home doing the child work, you need to be the provider, and some of these are starting to break, not all of them, but some of them are starting to be challenged. But it's key to note that they are being challenged, that people assert them as true. Most of what we experience of gender in our society is people telling you what you can and cannot do, and it's designed to control you in a very specific way. And I don't agree with that. I think that that's a very absurd thing to say that like just because of the genetics you were born with with XX chromosomes, that you are predestined to be like a housemaker or like a housewife. But that is what most of gender is used to do. It's made to sort of make genetic predestiny for people, and I think it's really bullshit. I'm a trans woman. I was born male with XY chromosomes. As far as I know, I've never actually had a genetic test. I could be intersex or something for all I know. But as far as I know, I was born with XY chromosomes.
Right.
But that was not that. I was not happy being told that I'm a man or that I'm a boy. That did not make me happy at all. It doesn't make me happy, and so I challenged the gender perceptions of society and said, why can't I wear the clothes that I want to? Why can't I take the hormones that I want to? Why can't I have the pronouns that fit me better?
Exactly.
And the answer was mostly,
why can't you just live the way you want? Like tailor yourself to the way that makes you happy.
because you can't. There's not a real good reason for it. There's just sort of a knee-jerk, like, that's not how we've always done it. And that's where I start to say that the utility breaks down.
Okay, so the utility thing, I'm going to uphold that, because while you and some other people, or a large amount of people even, they may think that it's like a trap or a prison. It's like a
It is literally.
This
It really is.
that we have to abide by at all times.
Yeah,
It's
exactly. Literally, it is.
limiting us. Okay, sure. Like you can go ahead and you can buy, whatever, like men's boxers if like you're a girl and like you've been expected to wear women's underwear. Like no one's saying you can't. I think that we just view it differently. You view it as a sense of like there's like this binary being enforced and they're trying to like suppress us, where I just think it's like most people just find it to be useful. At least that's what I've noticed. I mean, every guy that I've ever
this is where I do disagree with you.
See that this is like this is what people said in the past about feudal structures. Like what?
Because like I don't think that like I don't think it's particularly useful. I don't think that like I don't see where the use comes in. Well, no, because like here's the thing. Like first of all, the first thing is there are tons of people who will say something if you do something gender nonconforming. Like right now, there was an entire faction of American politics, a large faction that literally thinks that you're like committing a crime by doing a drag show. Like, it's ridiculous. It's out of control, the amount of like transphobia that exists in our day-to-day lives, that people just freak out. And also, let me tell you this, if you don't think that you would be punished for that, then try dressing up in women's clothes next time you go to a family dinner and see how people react. Because you've not done anything wrong, but I can tell you, you'll probably have some family members who don't treat you very well.
So this is kind of like, you just kind of proved it in like that sentence where it's like, you're like, well, then go ahead and do it. It's like, well, I don't feel any need to do it, because it's like, I'm simply, because I'm not viewing it from the aesthetic lens, I'm viewing it from the utility lens. I'm viewing it as just a sense of like, okay, this fits, this works, and like, yeah, it does that.
Yeah, for you, exactly.
Personal though, that's you must be able to recognize that's not going to be true for everyone, right?
So now we have to talk about like the bigger picture, exactly. So now I want to talk big picture, because we focus on a lot of specifics. Because when I say like, when I make the claim that like, most men don't have breasts, okay.
Yeah, before we go big picture, I want to address one more thing that you said, which is about the positive utility of gender and gender roles. And I don't see a whole lot of those. And the reason why I don't see a whole lot of those is that
No, there would not be dresses that fit me. Sorry, I'm reading your chat.
Yes,
I'm 6'5".
yes, there absolutely would be dresses. Trust me, if you want, I can help you find one. Don't worry. You just have to look a little harder.
No,
It is true. It is true for tall. It is true that for tall
way.
people, that it's much harder to find dresses in.
If you are lucky and fit the pre-made norms for factory-made clothes. True. Like many cis women have trouble finding shoes because have very big feet. Cis women, you know?
General. For example, my mom who gave birth to me, she's a cis woman, has complained my entire life about having difficulty finding, long enough pants and dresses because tall women aren't like generally catered to because they're less common. Regardless,
True.
what I'm trying to say is about the positive aspects of gender is things like can you give me an example of something that you have been that is gendered that has been positive for you, like an example of something that really improved your life as a result of being gendered?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm wearing underwear right now, and they fit perfectly. And I don't want to get too graphic, but I don't think if I was wearing underwear that was designed for the female gender that I would be comfortable
The
whatsoever.
female gender was that.
Yeah.
Okay, but what if there was just underwear? You could just say, this is an underwear, and the underwear would be described, instead of being described as men's or women's or male or female, it would just say, this is large in the front. So if you have a large or small, whichever one, package, this is the thing for you. Wouldn't that be a little easier? Because then somebody like me, a trans woman who has a penis, then I would be able to go, hey, I want to buy this too.
That's the whole debate, right? Is would it be easier? And I'm saying,
I mean,
no, I don't think it would
is
be
it
easier.
that big of a difference for you?
I don't know. I mean, that's the whole thing. It's like we don't live in that world. We live in the world that I'm living in, and
That's nonsense. Like, wouldn't it be better if we weren't ruled by kings and if we didn't have masters? Maybe it would have been better, but we live in the world right now. Like, that's nonsense. What?
where I can just go out and get men's
So-
boxers and they fit and it works and I don't complain and it just
Okay,
works.
okay, so wait,
It
this
works.
is
That's
perfect.
the whole point
Wait,
that I make.
This is perfect. So what you're saying is that there is a very minor convenience that comes from the fact that you can walk into a men's section and generally find underwear that fits. Although, let's be real, a lot of times when you buy something, it doesn't always fit perfectly. And you also need to know, interestingly, you also need to know your size of things. You have to know the size of your underwear. You need to know the different people that make it. There's a lot more. You don't just walk in and find the perfect underwear. You go and you get a size whatever of this particular, Hanes or whatever fucking company you buy from, Calvin Klein. There's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into it. It isn't that simple. But let's put these two against each other. Let's compare the small benefit that you get from saying, oh, it's convenient, I can walk into a men's store, to the
Hold on, but you're
downsides.
saying the small benefit that I get, right?
You personally
I'm sorry,
get, yes,
but,
because a lot of
I'm
people don't
literally-
get this.
Bro, I'm literally just like some
Bro?
copy paste like
Like, the memo has said several times that if you're a trans woman, he says, bro. There you go.
cishet white man, right? I'm using the keywords that your chat's gonna fuck with, right? Okay, so I'm literally just that guy.
I don't
I'm
know
just
about
like,
that. I mean, there's the words have meanings. That's why it's helpful in this conversation, is because indicating that can be helpful for what we're talking about. But sure,
whatever.
sure.
But
go ahead.
I'm copy paste normie, whatever. And I'm just speaking on behalf of us, bro. Like this shit's helpful. Okay, you're gonna say it's a small convenience when you scale that up to like literally tens of millions of boys on the first day of school and they have to find shit that fits and they can be in and out of a department store. Not
Well,
department store,
but
what
no
am I
one's saying that a department store isn't going to exist or that
Not a
there aren't going to
department
be
store.
ways to do that. It's just that
I cooked?
you notice, you realize that gender ties into much more. That you are to have as a part of your society, male and female restricted segments of clothes. There are other changes that are required. There are things you have to pay for that. So yeah, while for cis people, for people who have no qualms whatsoever, can just walk into a store and get that. We're not saying that can't happen in another society. There are ways to design this that don't have the downsides, and the downsides I'm talking about are things like maybe you personally don't don't have any desire to dress any differently than, I don't know, like khakis and a Minecraft t-shirt. Maybe that's all you want. Maybe that works for you. And there's no judgment if that's the case. That's totally fine if that's all that you want. But there's a lot of people who aren't like that. What about all of the men out there who really would... What about all the men out there who would who really want to have painted nails, but if they do it, they're going to be ruthlessly mocked by their peers and their family because of
or by YouTubers like you.
Because of nonsensical gender norms. Like, that's a pretty heavy cost to pay so that you can say it's convenient to be able to go into a Target, but. Let me point out that if we didn't have such a gendered society, you would still be able to go into a Target and you would still be able to pick out, you know, underwear that is for a specific body type. In fact, there are stores that do that right now. There are stores, I mean, I was just talking with somebody in chat just a little bit ago. They have a thrift store near them that doesn't do gendered sections. They are sorted by...
All those drama people sound high.
Body shape and size. So you go in and you're looking for a specific type of underwear, you know right where to go, and it doesn't have anything to do with gender because it doesn't have anything to do with gender anyway. Gender is such a confusing thing that we've created that it only has helpful applications in very niche sections. You see what I'm saying?
Just no, it's not niche at all. I mean, I literally, you're not contesting the fact that I said tens of millions of cis people. Really, it's hundreds of millions of cis people because I mean, cis people are like the large majority of the population. Right, but no one's saying that they can't get their underwear. It's just saying that no, you did. You said it's a niche benefit. That's not true.
It is a niche benefit. It is a
what?
Niche benefit to
we
say.
Wait, hold on. We put on clothes every single day.
Wait, hold on. You're misunderstanding what I mean by niche. Let me be more clear. When I say niche, I mean it doesn't affect. Yes, let me be clear. I've learned a lot from Obama. That's why I'm so powerful. I saw him get the Chaos Emeralds, and I knew that I needed to get them too, so I did.
Fire. You should legalize lean.
Come on.
What are your thoughts on lean?
There's better drugs than lean, man. Come on.
You sipping on that purple drank or what?
Purple drank. Look, listen.
Are you
I'm
tapping
being
the
dead
muddy
serious
cup?
right now. I'm being dead serious right now. I enjoy my drugs. Okay. Lean is like the lowest of the low. Okay. Just trust me. You can do better than that.
Wait, you're not tapping to perp?
No, not today. No, not today. I like my liver. Thank you. I would rather be able to do many drugs for the rest of my life than give myself liver cirrhosis in 2 weeks drinking lean.
I see.
Oh damn.
But it's all good though. No hate.
What is lean?
Chat is all saying like lean is low tier.
It's true because it is. It's because I have. It's because my chat.
House.
Yeah, my chat. No, my chat are healthy. See, they know they don't fucking do that dirty shit. They use the drugs smartly. They use it to become next tier. We've got enlightened people here. All right. But nah. Like all I'm saying is when I say niche, I mean I'm not saying to like a small group of people. It obviously is there are a lot of...
I know what's happening here. He's like, drugs are bad. These people are ridiculous. What a crack house in their chat. Ha ha ha. I don't know what lean is. I have no idea what lean is.
cis people in the world. What I'm saying is that it's a pretty esoteric benefit to say when I go to the store, I can walk to the boy section instead of walking to the section of the underwear that fit my body type section. Like, do you see what I mean? Like, I'm not talking about the number
I
of
see
people
what you're
it
saying.
affects.
Like, yeah,
I'm saying that,
I'm sure this is like pretty personal for you because like specific like thing that you have to worry about, and I can kind of feel you on that
because like I don't give a shit. Like I already know. Like I'm already enlightened, bro. Like I've ascended so far beyond gender. Like people can't even comprehend. I can walk in anywhere and I can find clothes designed for anybody to do whatever the fuck I want. All I'm pointing out is that like the example that you're using of gendered underwear is a part. What I'm trying to get to is that it's a part of a bigger structure. It's a part of a bigger structure that is nonsensical. It simultaneously says it's nonsensical because it tries to tell you it's like the pockets thing. This is the same. It's the same basic thing.
It's not.
It is the same basic thing. It is a structure that tries to tell you that every person using this particular label, the label of man or woman, has a body that acts a certain
has a penis, and that's like almost everybody. Like I'm sure, like yes, there's trans people, but like bro, that's like I'm talking about like what's the percentage? Like 99 something. I'm sorry,
Yes.
like shout
Well,
out
hold on,
trans people.
You're missing the point here. The world, gender is not just made up of a single pair of underwear. And as I've already said, obviously there are going to be like things like bras that are going to be valuable to some body types over others. But
So it's not nonsensical.
You're not letting me finish here. I'm desperately trying to show you how this doesn't
fault,
align. It's okay. With other parts of the idea of gender. That gender is this thing that is supposed to, at least in our society, supposed to determine what you wear, that is supposed to determine your body type, that is supposed to determine your role in society, that is supposed to determine what types of jobs you can do, and that these are all intertwined and they're reinforced by one another. That we have men's and women's sections, and that again, underwear is not the only type of clothes that people buy. While yes, I'm sure that you could probably have that it's like, again, the underwear situation is a pretty low grade thing that I'm talking about here. What I'm talking about is more is there a lot of other examples of huge assumptions, and not just assumptions, but enforcement that is done. Like I said, you are not allowed to dress, or you are not incentivized, and in fact are decentivized, sometimes severely decentivized from dressing or behaving a certain way because we buy into these gender things. And so what I'm saying is that having a little bit easier to sort underwear is not all that big, to me, doesn't seem like that big of a benefit when you're also talking about a structure that simultaneously removes all the pockets from women, also tells women that they have to be homemakers, also tells women that they're not supposed to be successful or CEOs, and also tells men that they're not supposed to have emotions, that they're supposed to always compete with all of their friends, and they can't have a relationship that's not based on competition. Like
so
these are aspects of gender that are huge in our society, and they attach to all of them.
Like, are you trying to say that it all has a genetical blueprint or something? Is that where we're heading right now? From clothing to customs to everything.
Do you see what I'm trying to point at?
No, what about the blueprint? Obsessive for
the
what?
niche benefit that you immediately named.
There's a whole lot on my plate here. All right, so you gotta let me cook just for a quick sec. Okay.
Cook?
So I think you're like, I mean, yeah, like okay, yes.
Cook?
Men painting their nails, like when I see like Ben Shapiro, I'll be like, "Argh!" Like okay, like
Yeah. Is there a nail blueprint?
right, but like okay, like yeah, sure.
Is there a blueprint for women wearing color and men not?
Like you're doing this thing where you're tying all of that into like this is why women can be more than homemakers. This is why this is why that. And I'm just like, okay, well, let's take a step back and not do that because I think they're very different. I'm saying
I'm addressing gender in its totality. And and I asked you specifically, what's a benefit? I asked you to volunteer a large benefit for yourself. Like I said, what's a benefit you gain from gender? And the only thing that you brought up really was having a slightly easier time finding underwear.
I point out one thing.
that
there's a whole lot more.
but what I'm trying to say is that
there's men and
gender
women's
is way
sports,
bigger
like-
than that. Yeah, but
There's a lot.
If you want to get into that, let me tell you, I have a feeling that you probably have some pretty wrong opinions if you think that men and women's. Listen, look, all I'm going to say is that is a way more complicated topic than we can dive into tonight. If you want to come on here sometime and talk about men and women's sports,
you just asked me like, how has it helped? I'm saying when I go on the court and it's like I'm playing against all boys, like yeah, that's just it's more fair. I don't want to be dunking on the girls. Like,
are we gonna go into sports, gendered sports, and then trans women in sports finally? Oh no.
that's it's not fair.
I'm not, like I said, sports, I am not even going to.
Yeah. Sports is like a whole.
Ask me, has it helped my life? And I'm telling you, yeah, that sort of organization
you want to talk about
has helped my
sports?
life.
Okay, look.
Well, no, I mean, you asked me for another example. If you don't want to talk about it, we don't have to.
When you're talking about men.
Oh no, gigglers, we're going into sports. I didn't see this coming.
And women's sports. That separation is actually, it's not all that helpful as you think it is. In some sports, it's a big difference. In other sports, it's not that big of a difference at all. And when I say that, that's because if you adjust, and this is.
Sorry, what did he say?
Talk about sports? Okay, look.
Well, no, I mean, you asked me for another example. If you don't want to talk about it, we don't have to.
Is he gonna say that's not true?
You're talking about men and women's sports. That separation is actually it's not all that helpful as you think it is. In some sports, it's a big difference. In other sports, it's not that big of a difference at all. And when I say that, that's because
Well, that's obviously true.
and this is yeah, but
You
that's
asked me, and I said dunking,
course.
so it's basketball. That's for
okay,
me.
sure. So basketball.
I mean, do you want?
That's fine.
I don't
But
want to
actually,
talk
I
about
don't
big
know,
society
actually.
shit because like it's
Well,
like,
you
bro,
said you. Well, I'm trying to
you asked
bring
me
attention to that.
personally.
Yeah, but okay. So for you,
Yes, especially when you actually engage with people like I've been doing more lately.
you believe a personal benefit is that that you go onto the court and you play
Yeah,
with people
friends.
who are your same build. But you could do that in a world without gender as well, very easily. You just go and you find people
Yeah,
who
but
look
that's
like your build. It's super
but
easy
that's-
to do
that's
so.
just-
Yeah.
Like
they're all gonna be guys.
okay, well, you don't know that actually. Some of them could be trans women. Some of them could be trans
In
women
my
who haven't
life,
done
they've all
HRT.
been guys.
Some of them, well, that's fine. That's correlative.
Really, that's what you asked me.
That's in the society. I know, but what I'm trying to say is that you would be able to do that without in a society without gender. So this isn't a benefit that is exclusively brought to you by gender. Of course you would. Of course you would be able to go to a
What?
court and find
But
people
like, does that
who are
society
similar, have a
exist? Like,
similar
what are
build.
we talking about? Like imaginary?
Are you telling me right now that you don't think that there's any woman that could beat you at basketball?
No, of course not.
Okay, so then if that's true, then it clearly isn't just gender that you're operating on. You're playing against people who are in your relative skill
It's
level.
the genetic stuff. That's what I'm talking about.
What? The genetics like what?
Well, genetics doesn't apply that well as you think it does, but
In basketball, yeah, it does. I mean, males are like, I don't have the. I mean, listen. Again, I'm not.
Oh, the face.
Right, so I don't have all the statistics. I don't know where to go for like
well,
the
we don't have
statistics.
to. What I'm
Sure.
trying to
Okay,
point
but
out,
most
though,
men
what
are
I'm-
taller than women. Can you agree on that?
most men are taller than most women, obviously.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yes.
Okay,
But
yeah, sure. So
but
that's the point
but
that I'm making.
again, not,
That's
I don't-
influenced by
you-
genetics.
You don't want it. Well,
And most men are
influenced
stronger
by
than
two,
women. Most
it's
men have
influenced
thicker
by two
skin.
things. It's influenced by. Look, I am a woman. I am legally recognized as a woman, and I am a woman. I identify as a woman. I'm a trans woman. I am taller than most men. I am 6'2". I'm a very tall woman. Okay, my mom was
Bam.
also 6'2".
Got him. Got him.
And my mom was cis. So yes, it is true.
Got him. Double got him. Oh gosh. My mom is not very tall.
That most men are taller than most women. But
Actually, interesting enough, there's this manga, one of the most famous shonen mangas ever made, Slam Dunk. And this manga, and we all know that mangas are like scientific sources, okay? This manga, actually, Slam Dunk is pretty realistically written. But in this manga, there's like exploration of one of the players who is pretty short, and it is explained that like there is a position in basketball when it's actually more advantageous to be shorter. Like I think it's the position when your main job is to pass the ball to others, you know? Sramu danku, that's right. That's right. You know?
that is not like a very it's not a very helpful thing here because we categorize women and men a certain way anyway. So
Slam dunk.
yes, obviously most men and we categorize as men are taller than most women, but you acknowledge that there are some men who are not all men are taller than all women. There are women who are taller than many men, and there are men who are shorter than many women. And so what I'm pointing to is that the problem here is height.
Wait, but can I just respond to that really
gender.
quickly?
Gender is an ancillary that we are pasting onto here that doesn't actually have that much to do anything. If when it comes to basketball, you're talking about height, and you're talking about body weight.
I encounter women taller than me all the time. I read every child. True.
So, and in fact, it's funny
All women are kings.
because the Olympic the Olympic community and also most professional sports organizations in the United States have already advocated to moving away from split gender models for sports.
I just
and
found
instead
money in my
focusing
pocket.
more on body size, musculature, weight limits, and heights because it's
I thought I had trash in my pocket, but it was money.
just more useful, because there are some women who are just really strong and really tall.
Yeah, but
and
that's
they belong
really strong.
Yeah,
and they should probably be
at the top
for
tier.
a
Yeah.
more, yeah, but for a more fair, more
We're talking
fair.
about like we're talking about average people,
yeah.
I don't know.
And what I'm trying to illustrate here is because we've
True. Sports only exist for elite few percent. Sports for regular people is banned. There is no sports for regular people. Regular people cannot do sports. It's banned. It's forbidden.
these are the two that you've brought forward, and I'm trying to point out to you that I hope you can understand what I'm trying to get at, which is the idea that gender here is not what you're pointing at. You're saying that gender might help you, and I'm pointing out that I don't think gender is what's actually helping you here.
Honestly, then
because
maybe I
you're
shouldn't use the
looking
word
for-
gender, because if you're gonna think of it as an aesthetic, then I may as well not. Then it's just like sex, because it's sex that what matters most to me in the day-to-day life.
I mean, you're conflating the two things,
then,
right?
probably, I guess.
Non-stop.
Well, and I would counter you with this. When was the last time you knew the sex of anybody that you engaged with? Have you ever once actually like identified the genetic sex of any person that you
Nobody does that. Nobody's like cock inspection. Like
Wait,
what?
exactly. But because not even a cock inspection would be accurate, and the reason why is because
Okay, or like
we
or like
acknowledge.
blood prick. Like
Yeah, exactly. It's ridiculous. Nobody uses sex in their
True.
lives, and the
Thank you.
same thing almost
Got him.
almost universally applies to gender as well.
You get it. You get it now.
Gender. This is sort of the end
okay, but
result
this
of
is
the
just
long
like
conversation we've had.
now we're just being kind of silly. Now. Like it's like
No,
well,
we're not
you've never
being silly.
you've never
You
verified
wanted-
that they're actually
listen,
a biological.
You
It's like,
hold
well,
on
who
a second.
cares?
You came on here to discuss with me all of my ideas in this video, and we have gone down a very long path. And I don't think this is silly. I think we're getting to the actual heart of the issue.
meat.
We've addressed a lot of different things, but yeah, we are.
Wait, are you a vegan?
We are getting to the big veiny cock meat of the issue. That's what we're at right now. That's where we're
But
at.
are you a vegan? I'm actually curious.
I am an aspiring vegan. I would love to be vegan, but I am not quite yet. My household isn't vegan, so I sometimes eat meat.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Anyway, that aside, what I'm trying to point out here is that neither gender nor sex is a particularly useful social category for most of the things that we use it for. However, it does restrict a lot of people. It restricts cis people and trans people alike.
Can I ask you honestly though? Like, do you fully believe that? Like in our I mean, maybe not for you, and I don't want to be that guy because like this is gonna sound like I'm being an asshole, but I
shouldn't
swear
be
to God,
that guy.
I'm not trying to.
You shouldn't
You could
be.
just not be that guy. Yeah. Just
Well, hold on. I'm gonna say,
question.
right? Like,
Sure.
you're a streamer, right? And this is me
Sure,
too,
yeah.
right? But like, you probably spend a lot more time indoors than most people. Is that a fair assumption?
Oh, absolutely not. No, I am like I stream a lot on my stream days, but these motherfuckers will tell you I have like the most unreliable streaming schedule ever. I spent the last few months almost exclusively doing social shit outside my house, traveling across the country. I do a lot of stuff outside. I'm a very outside oriented person.
Then it does surprise me that you don't think that like sex as a thing that like organizes things in our society is useful. Like I mean, I do
think
a
it's
lot
an
of shit in my
illusion.
day to day.
I think it's an illusion. I think that people
What the things that I believe to be true do not necessarily have to be true. What the? Like it's like saying, like go back to 100 years. Are you saying that the fact that we are divided into peasants and lords is not useful? I don't think it's that useful. What the? That's such a silly rebuttal to say that the structures that we have today are not necessarily useful. What the?
people think
Sorcery
that
at
sex.
play.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, social sorcery, if you want to call it that. We can talk about things in more fantastical terms if you'd prefer. But I think that people think that they're talking about sex. But as we just demonstrated when I talked to you about it just a second ago, you don't actually know the sex of any of the people that you've involved with. I don't know the actual sex.
Well, I would say that
in
my
fact,
guesses are like 100% right. Like I'm pretty good at guessing.
maybe, but you don't know, and
I'd say
nobody
most
knows.
people are good at
And so, like I said, you're operating on an illusion. For all you know, I don't know if you've ever had a girlfriend or whatever, or if you do, I don't know. Maybe. I'm not trying to burn you or anything. I'm just saying. You
Hey,
don't
that
know.
was the other thing. You called me like an incel cuck. It's like I've been talking.
I did used to. I've heard that claim, but before. But have you? But you to get because part that needs to come after. Let's see, when are we going to the raid on the Destiny cloning facility? Oh, soon, very soon. So many botans died to get us those coordinates. True, it's true. Like, it's basically just accepting the status quo, right? Because things are organized the way they are, that it must be good, then it must be correct. Demon Mama here just says, maybe it's not that as well organized as you think. And the response is, what the? You know?
Talking to this girl
What
for a few
the?
months. What?
Oh, I mean, that was just me getting a little bit back at you for being an asshole. So
I never called you an
sorry
incel,
if that hurt-
cuck. What are you
sorry if that
talking
hurt your
about?
feelings. Oh, come on, shut the fuck up. Don't be a bitch.
Don't be a bitch!
You were shit.
On which seagulls poop. The beach that is very trashed. The beach on the salty sea. Don't be a beach at the salty sea. This is how we will say it for future. Come on, Giggler, don't be a beach at the salty sea. There you go. I am giving this to you as a gift. A gift from me to every single one of you. A thing to tell people, okay? Don't be a beach at the salty sea.
Shit talking, you got shit talked back. Just because I got you with a few good zingers doesn't mean that you can whine about it now when you fired the first shot. You fired the first shots in my nice little video. So don't even try. Fucking own
True!
it, man. Come on. Don't be a bitch. God damn.
That's how I feel.
Anyway, listen. What I was trying to say here is that no one actually knows the sex of the people that they're engaging with. We don't do chromosome tests. We operate on an illusion. We make a guess, and we can be wrong. Sometimes we are, and this becomes especially important to trans people, where people make all kinds of assumptions about us and are wrong all the time. Now, we aren't a big, a huge percentage of the population. We're about 1 to 1.5% of the world population, which is still a lot of people, by the way. 1/100th of the entire world is a lot of people.
True.
So that is a lot of people.
Well,
And,
you think it's an illusion? I just don't know if that's like okay. So you said
But you admitted it's
this
an
was your
illusion.
point.
You admitted that's true.
well,
You don't know the sex of any of the people you engage with. You could guess, but you don't know.
Well, okay,
And you're never going
so
to.
this is-
You're
this
never
is the-
going to be able to carry around a blood tester, and no one is going to let you test their chromosomal sex. The truth is, what matters to you, if you want to be completely honest, what
What matters to this person is presentation and probably the bits that people have.
matters to you is your assumptions about their gender, not their sex. You
True.
don't ever
That's
actually
true.
chromosome. You never will. I can call your bluff on this. I know that no one's going to go around chromosome testing people. No one cares about your sex. What they care about in our society is your gender,
it
what you
actually
appear
matters.
like.
Well, it's about yeah, and that's largely due to your genetics, regardless of how much like aesthetic differences you want to make. Like if you want to paint your nails, you want to do this, you want to do that. That's all fine.
What?
I'm saying
I
like, at the end of the
disagree,
day,
but okay.
it is biology, it is genetics, it is all encompassing.
That is like, what? This is such nonsense speak.
It's what matters the most.
No, I so disagree with you on that. Come on, man. Don't be like a Jordan Peterson guy. You really think genetics is what matters most in the world?
No.
You
I'm
look
saying compared to the other thing. Compared to aesthetics.
Compared to aesthetics?
Do you really think aesthetics matter more than genetics?
Oh, 100%.
What the?
1,000%.
What the hell? Oh, no.
All right, look, I see that we're getting to the end of your attention span, so we'll probably wrap it here soon. But let me just explain real quick. My piano here, I chose that because of aesthetics. The lights in my background, chosen because of aesthetics. My clothes, aesthetics. My glasses are a mixture, a genetic need that is being filtered through aesthetics. I need glasses, but I chose these glasses because they look cool. My hair.
Wait, hold on.
aesthetics.
That's actually perfect. Hold on, can I please say one thing? Okay,
Oh,
you need
okay.
glasses. That's because of
Okay.
genetics. That's because of some genetic predisposition to your eyes, needing glasses.
What? Okay, that is nonsense. You can have perfectly good eyesight and then you can ruin it. And that can be not related to genetics at all. You can ruin your eyesight like by just literally damaging your eyes, and then you need glasses. What now? This is like totally nonsensical point.
That matters
so
more
actually-
than the type
actually-
of glasses you need or the type of glasses you want.
Well,
What?
yeah, but-
100%.
wait,
You
wait,
needing
wait, wait.
glasses
Hold
matters
on,
more
hold on.
than if you get Gucci or Prada glasses.
You're missing the point. What I'm saying
That's nonsense. Not all eyesight related troubles is related to like genetics.
is you were making a claim that genetics matters more in everything. There are obviously some things where genetics matters a lot. Like, for example, if I found out that I was genetically predisposed to have cancer, that would be pretty important. But I think that by and large, I would say that by and large in our lives, most of what we do has a lot more to do with our aesthetics, and more importantly, not just aesthetics, but about what our society says that certain aesthetics say about
What
us.
the-
Like I said, every decision in this room, with the
Nah, Dimo, Mama is like to, good faith to do this. I would do it because I'm bad faith.
exception of my actual prescription frames, which, if we're going to be really funny, if we want to be really accurate about it, I actually need my glasses because of chronic eye exhaustion. It's
I will stop to this level. What the? Come on.
actually a genetic thing. I had perfect vision.
All right,
but
well,
I
a lot of
worked on a
people do.
computer.
God,
Yeah,
he's
many
wrong.
people do. But what I'm saying is
Jordan
that the
Peterson.
majority of the things in our society have nothing to do with our genetics.
True.
The cars we choose, the house that we choose, the types of foods that we
Although I don't know, maybe it's not so erudite would disagree with that. Burn, boom. Not so erudite thinks that everything is genetic, so I don't know.
like.
Yeah, but you
are
mentioned cancer.
I brought up cancer as an example of one thing where genetics matters more, but you were making the argument that genetics is like one of the most important things in our existence, and I just don't think it is.
Cancer matters, yeah. You
Sure,
agreed,
cancer matters. I'm not saying that it doesn't.
What?
I think you're missing the overall point. Most of what we do is
Perhaps.
social. Humans
Perhaps.
are social animals more than anything else. We don't make decisions about each other based on our genetics. We make decisions about one another because of social things, whether we agree on things, whether we like.
Not so erudite? Absolutely, she does. Not so erudite believes that her political, opinions are genetics based. Like it's a whole thing.
Like certain video games the same, whether we have similar political opinions, which are undeniably social. These are all social and aesthetic in many cases. We hang out with people whose vibe we like, which is an aesthetic check. It's not genetics. We like certain things because they remind us of other things because of our life experiences. So these are all things that are social and aesthetic that are not genetic. So
Right, and
I
I agree that everything that you just mentioned is less important than like every genetic thing that could happen to you that would affect your life in a drastic way. Of course, yeah.
Yeah, I think I think there's a missed connection happening here.
True.
Okay, not everyone is going to genetically get cancer.
I would do the ad hominem unimus, okay?
Let's take
I
two
would do
people,
it.
right?
I would do it right
We're
now.
gonna do a thought experiment here.
I like thinking and
What's that? Sure.
experimenting.
Go
All
ahead,
right,
name
we're
your
gonna
two
do, we're gonna
people.
do Jeff and
What?
and Susie. How about that? Jeff and
Oh
Susie.
All right,
my
Jeff and
gosh.
Susie. There you go. So Jeff and Susie, both of
Why
them,
is it funny?
do not have genetic predisposition towards cancer, Alzheimer's, or anything like that. Their life is
I might actually have a genetic predisposition towards both of these things. Both cancer and Alzheimer's. Yeesh. Okay. I better not think about it.
not going to be, in our thought experiment, we can agree that their life is not going to be thrown off the edge because of genetic decisions. Instead, the direction of their life is going to have to do
Genetic
with
decisions.
their choices, the things that they enjoy, the music that they indulge in, the food that they
Music?
like, the people that they hang out with, social things, right? You can, like, I'm not arguing, this is where I think the misconnection was. Like, I'm not arguing that genetics can't have a big impact on your life or that it doesn't. I do think that they do and can, but I think that for the vast majority of us, for most of our lives, we are preoccupied with social concerns and therefore, in many cases, aesthetic concerns, especially in our society. which is very image focused. We live in a very image focused society.
And the boogie
That
glass.
with the popularity of YouTube and
I don't know.
Instagram.
I
and
mean,
stuff
this
like
is just
that.
a tough one to know. I mean, I don't know. I just think the genetics thing matters the most. Like I've been friends with. I remember I had a friend for a while, and I moved, but he had diabetes, and he had to like constantly like check this. I don't even know what it was. I think it was like his blood sugar, and he had like a
Blood sugar.
like a
Yeah, it's
like a-
blood sugar.
carried around like this thing. It kind of looked like a Tamagotchi. It just had like a constant thing going on.
Yeah,
And
sure,
It was just
but do you-
constantly
do
thinking-
you-
and that was a huge imperative on his life. And I agree. Like, yes, he
That's
had a
true,
great
but
personality, and yes, he.
yes, see, that's the thing. You don't.
Right, but-
I'm sure you remember that as a part of him and something that he had to deal with. But I imagine that probably you remember that friend more for the times that you spent together, the jokes that you made, the things that you did, maybe
Right.
even the video games that you played. So those
Sure,
social aspects almost always win out for us. That's like how humans more or less are. We are super social animals. So what I'm trying to say is all of this, like I said, we're starting to get to the point where we probably should call it quits for the night. I gotta fucking wrap this stream here soon because I gotta eat some dinner. But I hope you can understand what I'm trying to point out here at the very
wait,
least,
how much
even
more
if you
time
don't
do you
100% agree. I mean, I can go for another 30 minutes if you want. But
30 minutes? Okay. I don't want to take too much of your time. Well, but
No, it's fine.
we'll do like another 10. All right, cool. So, okay, sure. I don't think you disagree that genetics are important. Whatever. Okay, so I want to. We talked about so many things. I don't
We
think
did
this
talk about a lot
conversation
of
was
things.
bad. I thought it was useful, but
No,
wanna go
I
back
thought
to
it was
the main
really
thing.
good. I was actually really impressed. I hope that you will at least like, as a gesture of good faith, I hope that you will think on some of the things that I said here longer, and maybe. I don't care if you. I literally don't care. You don't have to retract your video or anything like that. I roasted you for the video. We're even on that front. But I hope you'll at least think about these things and maybe consider how they might affect your life. Because
True.
at least in my experience, I have a lot of conversations about stuff like this with people, and sometimes it really changes their perspective on the world. And sometimes you might even find things that are like, wow, this actually does kind of suck.
Well, okay, so I can conceptualize your perspective. I just think that at the end of the day, I view things a lot from like the grand scheme, the bigger picture, in the sense of like how like we're all gears in a system to some extent, right? Always, right?
Yeah, I think that's true, but I think that how like we are all pieces of a system, but whether we choose to be a gear or something else is up to us. Like I don't just play by rules just because they exist personally.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people.
am-
Yeah, of course, right?
yeah.
Okay, maybe I'm specifically talking about like just like a big thing, right? Like yes, like obviously on like a small level, and even on a big level, people are gonna do things that like for good or for worse, like make them or separate them from the norm, right? Like people do crimes, people do horrible things, that makes them different. People do
People
small
do lots
things,
of
like
good
they paint
things
their
too,
nails,
yeah.
they do, yeah, of course, right?
Yeah.
The whole point is that like I'm talking about like we have a lot of things in our society that set up things to operate a certain way, and I think a lot of people in like the left wing sphere that you're probably a part in have a lot of they take a lot of time to try to combat like very specific, or maybe they would think they're big, like parts of these systems that they think does harm. And I think that like
Sure.
yes, there is some things that can definitely be looked at, like of course, like I think a big one is probably like criminal justice system. Like that's a big part of like our society,
Criminalities.
produces bad results. But then we have things like men and women's clothing stores, or like autism gender, and I have
Yeah.
to wonder, it's like, does the fact that like these big systems of how most people, I would say, and this is I guess sure purely from my life, view things like gender,
I mean, this is a step up from the video that he made, I guess.
autism, and view the way that these words, their interplay, and all of that sort of stuff, they don't need to be challenged, I think. And then there's a phrase
see,
that is
but
that
there's
Zoomers
something
use.
here, which is that there's something here that is interesting, which is that those were your examples that you brought up. You were the
What
one who was
examples?
most sort of preoccupied on men's and women's clothing stores. I was talking about the bigger issues of gender, and in fact, in my original
In a
video
good way. I mentioned the men's and
Right.
women's stores in a good way, of like how the good they operate in the system with.
Yeah, and what I was saying was I disagreed with you on those, but that wasn't my thing that I brought forward. Those were yours that you brought forward, and I was addressing them because I was having a conversation with you. But if you go and you look at my content, most of what I do is not talk about men and women's clothing stores. In fact, I don't really care about that at all. It's one of the least important things to me. I just
Well, I
recognize
mean, you did
how
kind
they
of rant
plug in.
about pockets for like 15 minutes.
I ranted about pockets to make a point to you.
Okay, and then the
Right.
underwear thing as well. Whatever. Okay, fine. Your content.
Yeah,
Sure.
like, man, bro,
Whatever.
that was for you, man. Like, if you go look at my content about gender, I've done, I mean, my biggest gender-related content that I've done recently is a video that is titled, This Should Concern You. And it's a video about
Right.
the ongoing, what I believe to be a rising genocide towards trans people in the United States of America. It's a pretty serious issue for me, and the reason why I believe that to be the case is because there's
Why it's so
they have a
funny?
whole case for it. You can watch that video if you want to. It's very, very. It's,
Yeah.
the situation for trans people in the United States is fucking terrible. It's very important to me. Yeah.
Of course, yeah, I understand it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm reading your chat. They have me on. Okay, they've profiled me. I don't like it.
Well,
That's
I
okay.
mean, to be fair, like certain things, like scoffing at when I say that I've made a very serious video.
No, I
about,
wasn't scoffing at you. I was reading chat. I swear, I wasn't.
Okay, all right.
It's
Well,
like-
they
it's
might
like
not
I-
interpret it that way.
I
so.
understand. Yeah. I wanted to clarify that. No, I understand. Like it's important, but I wasn't scoffing.
So like,
I was just like,
this is not a my
Right.
approach to gender generally is not a small issue thing. Once in a while,
Yeah,
I will do a video
exactly.
like the one that you kind of jumped on there, where I'm talking about something. But part of the reason why I do that video is because I have a larger goal in mind. My larger goal being people need to think more critically about gender.
Gender, yeah.
Because
yeah, and that's just where I disagree. Yeah.
well, that's
What?
fine.
People don't need to think more critical of gender?
Video
Think
is
critically
is
about
the whole thing is I think critical thinking applies in a lot of healthy circumstances, which I think parts of the left political wing have done, extensive thinking on, like I mentioned, criminal justice system and a lot of economic things for sure. But I think when it comes down to like gender, right? Now we're trying to do autism gender. I think it really boils down to it just being
don't
not
do it
that
like
deep
that. Like
at the
we're
end of the
trying
day.
to do autism gender. No, some people have explained
some
themselves
people.
a certain way, and there were people on the internet giving them shit, and I took the time out of my day to make a 9-minute, pretty short video to understand it, to stop people from having the reaction that you did.
Yeah.
So like you kind of proved my point, which is that like people react really stupidly to a concept that they don't know anything about, and they get all up in hackles. They act very snowflakey about it, when instead of just going, this is something I didn't understand. Wow, some people have found some use in this. It's not like
because
there's
the critical
you
thinking on
use this
certain
language.
subjects-
Well, you use this language like, oh, we're doing autism gender now. No, what is that supposed to mean? You're making like a thing like somebody's trying to impose. Nobody's trying to do that. Also, your commenters did this a lot. I looked through the comments and they were all like, no one's gonna tell me to be autism gender, and like no
What?
one did.
Exactly.
Ever. Not even my
Well, no,
video
but
had
I mean,
anything to
aren't
do
you,
with that.
you literally just said critically think this sort of stuff. Like nobody
Of
wants to
course.
do that. Critically
Well,
think
well,
about
that's-
things that
but
that
that's
deserve
the-
critical thinking. Autism,
Wait,
gender,
but
and-
I
Mocking is not critical thinking. What is this person thinking?
believe it does deserve critical thinking. If
Exactly,
people
and
are,
that's why I made that video. I don't think it does, and
Well,
and that's why I
okay,
threw like
but
a
you're
bunch
a
of memes in the
Minecrafter. Who
video.
cares? Like, who fucking cares? You're some random Minecrafter guy. Like, why should anybody give a shit about your opinion? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's such a silly thing to say. Like, oh, you
I mean,
shouldn't
do you think people should
critically.
give a shit about your opinion? Like, what are you saying?
Yeah, I do, and I think that people do. In fact, I have 400 concurrent viewers right now of people who do give a shit about my opinion. And the reason why they give a shit about my opinion is because I take my time and I actually think about things deeply instead of just hand waving them in a, I'll say, a little bit of a childish manner.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, because
know,
I mean,
It's kind of a
I mean, you can critically think about like anything. It doesn't mean that it's
sure.
like
Yeah.
what? Obviously.
Well, but okay, but are you
You're
telling
trying to
me
lil
that-
bro me by saying like, well, I actually have 400 something people in the stream right now. It's
Okay,
like,
yeah,
sick,
I mean,
awesome. But like, what
Yeah.
is, like that
I have
doesn't mean your
15.
opinion's worth more
Thank
than
you for
mine. What
being
the
here.
fuck?
I never said it was worth more than yours.
You
I just said
literally
that
did.
you were-
Hold on.
No,
You
hold
literally
on, hold
said,
on.
"Who cares what some fucking dumb Minecrafter has to say?" Like that's what you
Yeah,
said.
because you said you made the idea you made the claim that we shouldn't talk about something that's affecting people. And why does your what expertise or what value do you have as a Minecraft streamer to claim what anyone should or shouldn't talk about?
I didn't say
like,
you. Hold on.
You
I didn't say
did. You did. You said, why
Hold on,
should we
hold on.
critical think about this? It's kind of
Yeah.
silly. It's like a very anti-intellectual position. It's like
Yeah, for certain
I'm
things,
not,
bro. Like,
well,
Bro?
you don't think it's important, but
Why the bro?
some people do. And also, it is, if you listen to my video, as I explain in the video, I think that it plugs into larger issues that are important. When people are like mocking people for using a term, that's a thing that happens all the time. Especially in on like online culture. people laugh first and then they think second. And I think that's a really shitty way of living your life. I think it leads people to make very stupid decisions, to just immediately react with like, that's so dumb, before ever thinking about it. It took 9 minutes for me to explain the entire concept. That's not a whole lot of time in people's lives, but a lot of other people approached the concept that I was talking about, autism gender, and immediately just said, that's fucking dumb. They never took any time, which, you know what? Sure, if you really want to do that, that's fine, but I don't think that that's valuable. I think it's more valuable to take a little bit of time and try to understand someone's perspective,
Okay, well,
and then you might actually walk away learning.
Why is it valuable?
Wait, why is it valuable?
Wait,
Because
hold on. Do you not think some people have fucking stupid perspectives? Like what? That was the
Yeah, I
entire.
definitely do.
That was,
Wait, I
that was
absolutely
the
do.
entire premise of my video. Is it's like, yeah, it's like, okay, someone brought up something that is like, it's silly, right? And the wording specifically used is completely silly.
Okay, but I'm making a
video
video, but let's be real, bro.
showing
Let's
how
be real.
silly
Let's
it is.
not,
I'm putting in
let's
memes
not
in my
fucking
video.
fake. You gave in this entire conversation. We've had a very long conversation. You never gave a good reason for why you thought that word
exactly.
didn't make any sense. In fact, your argument was
I
was
said it
patently
5
absurd.
times, dude.
You've said it 5 times, and it still doesn't, and it didn't make any sense. If when people go back and watch this, they're going to hear you say that it doesn't
Nothing.
make
A
any
bunch of nothing. Like it's genetics, bro. This is basically the whole argument. This is where the argument begins and where it ends.
sense because you think that gender is
It's from experiencing being under pressure, so you laugh nervously. I'd give him a pass on the bro. I honestly believe the guy kills everyone, bro.
aesthetic, but
I don't know. I don't trust him.
and then also 2 seconds later you say that I don't think gender means
don't
anything,
trust him.
and then
I don't trust him, bro.
It's controversial. Yeah, because you never answered it.
I always said aesthetic. I don't think it means shit.
Well, then I guess why do you care? If it doesn't mean anything to you, then why do you care?
Care about what?
Why do you care about me talking about it? If it means something to me, but it doesn't mean it's something to you, why would you care about me talking about it?
Well, it's a free
If it
video.
doesn't, well, yeah, it is true. It's a free video. So is mine.
Okay.
So why?
I mean,
See, anybody can say that. That's a nothing. That's a thought-terminating cliche. It's a free speech. It's a free speech, man. Sure,
What?
it's free speech. And like you
no,
said,
it's just content. Like you said something silly. I made a video calling it silly. I put
okay,
memes in
and
there.
then you came here.
I made some
and
points.
in your
and-
video
yeah.
and here, you failed to make it appear to be silly. And I have spent the last 2 hours.
We never even spoke about the etymology. We had some.
We don't need to because I was
Etymology?
able to prove in this conversation that my entire chat has been able to see, and that thousands of other people will inevitably see. I was able to get you to admit, and you didn't even notice you were doing it, but I was able to get you to admit that actually the concept does make sense.
Yeah, the
You were just
concept.
being.
I'm talking about the
Yeah,
words.
you were just, and the word made sense too. It was
yeah.
super easy. It took me less than it took me less than 5 minutes to explain to you what I meant by that,
You
which is
literally
exactly what the
refused to talk
original
about
video
the
did.
etymology. So did you not?
You are really not good at this. I told you that I don't think the etymology has anything to do with what we were talking about at the moment. Do you want to talk
Okay,
about the etymology now?
It's
Well,
almost
okay,
over.
so autism gender, that's the word, that's the phrase, autism gender, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that in itself is implying, and I already said this in my video, like I don't know why I'm repeating myself, but this is like you're implying that autism is a factor that operates within the male-female spectrum. And we talked about this briefly with the attack
Oh
helicopter
no,
thing,
no,
and we
you're
got
oh
sidetracked.
dude, come on. I did not say that. That is not something that I said. I did not say that gender operates on the male-female spectrum. You said that. That's your idea
I
that
said
you're
that,
projecting
yeah.
onto me.
Did I say you said that?
I didn't say that. Yeah.
didn't just say
Like
that you said that.
so this isn't etymology either. You've gone to a different argument. We aren't talking about etymology.
no,
I just told
I'm getting
you just
it. I'm
said you
getting
wanted to talk about etymology. Then I said talk about the etymology, and you immediately just didn't talk about the etymology, dude.
Right.
Just
okay,
admit
no,
it.
I'm
Like,
saying-
come on, autism gender, it does actually make sense. If you think about it for 2 seconds, you thought it was cringe to begin
word,
with, and
bro.
you kind of flew off the handle about it. But in truth, it actually does kind of make sense. It does make sense to you. You admitted earlier on in this conversation
Bro,
that it actually does make sense.
The concept, which you have to explain every time. I talk about
But the word,
autism,
but the word is
gender.
also the word is also very apparent. Autism, gender. They believe their
Okay,
gender
that's
is
probably right.
heavily
It's
affected
linguistics,
by
not
autism.
etymology.
It seems pretty straightforward.
Maybe it's not etymology. Maybe I'm using that word wrong.
Maybe you are. Etymology usually refers to where a word's like sourced from. Like so,
True,
like,
yeah.
for example, logos is a term
Oh, it's probably
that we use.
linguistics then. That's probably the right way of putting it.
Sure.
My
but
gosh.
regardless, like, I don't think that you managed to pull
Persuade
together.
anyone.
an
I mean, all your chat
successful
agrees with me because
criminal.
you
What?
and them are using these specific definitions of gender that most people that are in my audience, which is much larger, don't use. So, I mean,
I don't
know.
think
My
that's
video-
true.
my
I don't
video-
think
my
we're
video seemed
using
to
any
resonate
sort of
pretty well.
specific definition of gender. I just think
Yeah,
that
you said it's aesthetics, which is not what
no, I
anyone
said
in my
I said
audience
no,
believes.
I said specifically that gender is mostly aesthetics. But I think that most people don't think about gender very much. And I think that if I was to take most people in your audience and do exactly what I did with you here, sit down and have a conversation with them, and I asked them some questions, they would start to agree with my position more than they originally thought. And the reason for that is because they don't usually think about gender. Most people, when they think about gender, all they think about is, oh, what does it say on the target sign?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're literally just repeating what I said. Is that like that's the entire point? Is you think, oh, it's so awesome.
That doesn't matter. That's like
It
saying
does matter.
Like, wait, hold on.
No,
Really?
no.
Do you think that? Do you think that? Let me give an example of this. Most people, when they say, "I'm going to the store to get some gas," and then do you think that like do you think that it's not valuable for a scientist to be able to talk about the various types of petroleum and also to talk about gas in a different context? That in colloquial language, gas means going to the store and buying gasoline, but in other contexts, gas means a gas, a aerosol, or not a aerosolized, but a type of matter. Like, you're just all you're talking about, all you're saying here is that some people in your audience only think that gender means men and women's room and men and women's clothing store. And what I'm pointing out is that my video is specifically going into a much deeper interpretation, not a different interpretation, but a deeper interpretation in a different context.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just unwilling to engage with it. And so is most of your audience, unfortunately.
Because it's lame. It's like a waste of time, I think.
What?
Like, no one's gonna adopt this sort of stuff.
I mean, you're literally blatantly wrong about that. And the reason why, the reason why you're blatantly wrong
show
about
me
that
the autism
is
gender
is because we're talking right now about this topic. So if it is true that no one cares about this and no one is ever going to adopt it, then I have a shocking thing for you. You're in a dream, my friend. This whole conversation has never really happened.
Am I adopting it? I guess I am adopting it. I'm literally not. Like, what are you talking about?
It's kind of weird. It is kind of funny by making a video on something like that, you do kind of spread it further. But I will say that actually, yes, people do adopt.
I mean,
it.
if that's how you want to view it, as all publicity is good publicity, go for it.
I mean,
You got pretty
wouldn't
mad
say
at
that
it,
all
so
of
I
it's
can't
good.
assume that you were pretty happy. You were like, hey,
no,
you
I
cock.
don't think I was mad at it. I think it was
No,
funny.
you were. You called me like a fucking incel cuck. Like, that seemed pretty heated.
You
don't know.
kind of behaved a little bit like a fucking incel cuck. I'm sorry about that, but you kind of do a little bit, and it's kind of lame. Like, you could be, I don't know. This conversation's been mostly fun and fine. Like you kind of have like you kind of have like a Shadow the Hedgehog type like kind of thing going on at most times, which
what?
I feel like you'd be. I feel like.
out.
Oh, sorry. I said you have kind of like a Shadow the Hedgehog kind of like kind of thing going on. You've got a kind of thing going on, just a little bit. It's a little bit of like, I'm too edgy to think about things. Which if you want to be a dumb,
what are you
it's
talking?
fine.
I'm talking about this one specific. No, that's just not true. I literally engage with people all the time on like thinking critically on all sorts of things. I just think it's fucking silly.
Well, that's fine, but I think you're wrong about that, and I think this conversation itself kind of shows that you may have jumped the gun a little bit, because we actually had a very productive conversation the moment you were willing to like not.
Yeah, when we talked
have a
about
knee-jerk
other
reaction.
things, when we talked.
No, we didn't. We actually specifically talked
You
about
understand?
exactly
Most of
that.
this conversation was not autism gender.
What's that?
Hello? Okay, most of this
Sorry, you
conversation
broke up for a
wasn't
second.
autism gender. You know that, right?
Well, yeah, because you wanted to go into other things. You wanted to understand what I meant by gender and what I was talking about, and I feel like that was quite productive.
Super immature, bro. I'm 19. What the fuck?
Well, I mean,
Not
listen,
you. Sorry.
Hey,
someone's in
don't
chat.
be
Like, what do you-
ageist to yourself. Don't be ageist to yourself. There are lots of 19-year-olds who are super mature. You don't want to.
That's facts. I
Don't
mean-
do the other 19-year-old dirty.
I guess if I'm immature in the sense if I'm not going to engage with autism gender, then okay, fucking
Oh, well,
guilty.
what
as
I'm trying to
charged.
say here, all I'm trying to say, and what I was trying to say in my original video, which I don't think that my original video was like aggressive or mocking anybody at all. My original video was literally just sort of patiently explaining a concept to people who asked me. If you actually go and watch the video, you even brought attention to it. At the beginning, that video was cut out of a larger live stream. Somebody asked me about it in chat. That's why.
True, yeah, that is how it happened.
So, yeah, so like you reacted to that rather, let's just say you did seem a little triggered. I
was just having fun, to be honest.
Well, all right. I mean, then what I would recommend to you is, maybe think a little first. There are probably things that are worth your time, worth making fun of more than that. And also,
I don't know. I mean,
note
there's
the
a
fact,
lot of things that I think critically can think
note the fact that you came into this conversation and learned a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good discussion, yeah, for sure. I mean,
So there you go.
Really
So it seems that my way of sort of going through things with just a tiny drop of patience is a little more effective than your way of mocking something you don't understand. That's all I'm trying to point out here. I'm trying to point out that knee-jerk reactions of mocking something you don't understand is not always the best.
I actually totally understand what you're trying to do with the autism gender thing and what other people that I shouldn't say you're trying to do, but the people that you're promoting, what they're trying to do with it. I fully understand what it is. Just, again, like for like the 50th time, I think it's silly. I've explained why I think it's silly. And everybody in my audience seems to think it's silly. Like the 30, 40,000 people that saw it agree. I mean, yeah, it's...
All right, well, there you go. So maybe... I'm glad that you've come to the conclusion.
I mean, you're right about the concept thing. Like, I don't know why.
Thank you.
The concept should matter more. I think. Because then finding.
Well, but how do you talk about a concept without having a word for that concept? Like,
exactly.
How
So
the
find
fuck
better words.
Better what?
What would you here? Give me one.
Shit. I mean, I don't. I mean, I'm not autistic, so I don't know if this would be good for me.
Yeah, but you've been talking so much about how I need a better word. Do you know how many words aren't like the perfect fit for other things? Like, come on.
I think. Well, yeah, and there's a reason why autism gender hasn't hit mainstream for sure. I agree with you on that.
Well, it's not. It's never going to hit mainstream, and the reason why it's never going to hit mainstream.
It's a terrible word.
No, the reason why it's never going to hit mainstream is because autistic people make up a small percentage of the population. But that doesn't mean that what they say and what some of them say doesn't matter.
Well, so do trans people, and trans people have had more of an impact on the language than autistic.
Well, yeah,
people.
but that's because there's different things being talked about when you're talking about transgender versus autism gender. These are two different. They are connected concepts, but they are different. Autistic people who are talking about autism gender aren't talking about the same things that trans people are. When trans people are talking about being transgender, there's a lot of other things involved. There's things like hormones, there's things like bathrooms, there's all these different things. Autism gender, it doesn't have anything to do with any of those things. It's a smaller concept and therefore a little bit easier to understand.
Okay, well then honestly, just say the concept instead of the word, like, because it's so niche, like you said, it's like, okay, well,
I just don't agree with you. I just think we should be less. I think we should be less fragile about words. I think we should listen to a word and go, I don't know what that means. Let me find out what it means.
Yeah, exactly. Like not some like, oh my gosh, so funny, and the people don't get it, so we shouldn't learn about it. That was the wackiest part, you know. That was the wackiest part of it all.
And then we should just move on with our lives and go, oh, okay, now I learned something.
Now I know, yeah.
And I can talk about something else.
Apple is a silly word.
That's the way that I look at it. All right. Well, let's wrap it here. This is as good of a spot. Yeah, this is a good spot to wrap up. Hey, Cheeto, thanks for coming on and engaging me in the arena of ideas. I was pleasantly surprised by the conversation we were able to have, even though I'm sure we still have some disagreements.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I don't. And I should probably do this more. I don't know if like people from my audience went and like spam disliked your video. Like I don't want that to happen. I mean,
like imagine that you don't know things, so you go out and learn about them instead of just mocking them. Learning new words and you're learning new concepts. Imagine that.
Let me tell you, I did get a surge of some people who were basically going. I described them as the Reddit lol face. I did get some of those, but I don't really care. Trust me, I have dealt.
So I always.
I don't know if you know. You mentioned Destiny earlier, but Destiny and I have a bit of a bloody history. So I have dealt with a lot more people, a lot more negative attention than your community. So don't worry about it at all. Your people are fine.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to say, just like, you know, sorry for that, because that always happens. And
Yeah, whatever.
yeah.
Anyway.
I guess that's that. So.
All right. Well, hey, you have a good night. Thanks for coming on and talking to us. All right.
All right. Peace
Bye.
out.
Bye for now. Well, everyone, was that not a pleasant surprise?
It
Was that
was.
not a surprisingly interesting conversation? There was a
yeah.
lot of things we didn't agree on, but actually, I thought that was fun. Okay,
I think that was pretty educational. People can learn.
I had a good time with that. I had a very good time with that.
Yeah, I see.
I like debate. I told you this. I like debate. Okay. All right.
Debate! Now it's my turn to debate. You will debate me. But first we must... Okay. Now the plan is that I change the title, okay?